In a world where BYU had no official gaming and esports podcast, 5 mad lads decided to change everything. Not actually everything, but it sounds cooler when I say it that way. We knighted ourselves, not really, but we thought to. We created a podcast. We did the dry run. We used our toothpaste. We prepared ourselves, and we still don't have video, but we're working on that. Welcome to Knights of the Deep End.
We used our toothpaste?
Really bringing in Fire Emblem.
Oh my goodness. Oh no. Welcome everybody to Knights of the D-Pad, BYU's first official gaming and esports publication here on campus, run by BYU students ourselves. No, we did not knight ourselves. We are not sirs, although...
We totally should, though.
We totally should, though. Be 5 sirs, 4 sirs at the table, and 1 disembodied voice of Merlin off to the side.
I like the idea. We're going to call our wonderful editor, Jason, just codename Merlin.
Codename Merlin.
How does that sound to you?
Currently, Merlin is just sitting, doing his thing. But welcome to Knights of the D-Pad, everybody. We're excited to embark on this adventure into the world of esports and gaming with all of you listeners. Our hope is to share the news within the gaming world, within the esports world, over however long we go for until they decide to pull us off stage and say that you need to stop. But until they do that, we will continue to share
until
news.
they give us the crook, just yank us out.
Until they forcibly remove us from these chairs, we will bring you the esports news.
We are that dedicated to you listeners.
We actually never leave these chairs. We're permanently here.
We live here, we study here, we sleep here.
Some compassionate souls bring us food and water from time to time.
But we're not allowed to eat and drink in this booth, so we actually don't. It's fed through us through tubes right through the hallway. So, with all of that, though, of course, because we are college students, there will be some bits of news that we miss, and there will be some games that maybe we don't get to play, but we'll do our best to get the biggest bits of information, at least slightly try to get all of the games to give the most accurate information that we can see, because we don't want to be lying to anybody, unless we're trying to lie, which I hope that none of you are going to... Are you going to try and lie to our audience? I hope not.
Be wary of the April Fool's episode.
If I was trying to lie, I wouldn't tell you anyways, so...
True.
Maybe he's lying right now.
Good point.
I could be lying right now.
Yeah, we don't know.
He's ahead of the curve. But of course, with this being the first episode, you, the listeners, don't know any of us, don't know who any of us are, what we do. So we're just going to go through and introduce ourselves just briefly, obviously, before we get things rolling. So I'm going to start on my right.
Hey, everybody. My name is Ben. I'm kind of like the MOBA and overall PC gaming expert here. And, I'm from Virginia, but I came out here to BYU to study cybersecurity, and I'm currently a sophomore.
Awesome. Then just moving over to me, my name is Aidan. I'm also a sophomore here at BYU. I reign from Houston, Texas. My gaming experience is varied. I wouldn't say that I specialize in any kind of game. I'm also a communications journalism major, and just really excited to get moving with this. Moving to my left.
All right, my name is Cort Lawrence. I am a elementary education major here at BYU. I'm in my senior year. As for my specialty, I'm kind of just a basic all-rounder. I like games of all kinds. I'm a very inclusive gamer. And, that's me.
All right, and then last of the 4 at the table, my name is Kyle. I am a senior here at BYU, also a comms major. Communications, if anyone doesn't know the terminology. I am also kind of a generalist. I grew up with a lot of Nintendo games, but I've been branching out in more recent years. I love indie games, and just honestly, the game impressed me. I'll enjoy it.
We'll just have him be our mobile game expert.
He'll just play all of the gotcha games on the phone. He's a gotcha game expert.
Let me tell you, the latest update to Arknights. It's the great... Never played Arknights.
Oh, no.
Raid Shadow Legends.
Shadow Legends.
And now's the perfect time to introduce our sponsor.
Not Raid Shadow Legends
Not Raid.
or anything. We're sponsored by water. Drink it up.
Although, Raid Shadow Legends, if you did want to sponsor us, I mean...
Are we even allowed sponsorship? We're
Probably
a publication. Now is a good time to mention we're a publication of the Daily Universe, which is the official newspaper of BYU. We run pretty independently, so you'll never need to worry about a sponsor asking us to give you an annoying ad read for some mobile game or something like that.
No,
I don't
we
know.
will only shamelessly plug the things we want to shamelessly plug.
Exactly. Our
Like
shameless-
Raid, Shadow.
Raid Shadow Legends.
Raycon Shadow Legends VPN.
Raycon Shadow.
Oh,
The
no.
ultimate sponsor.
The ultimate sponsor.
The Four Horsemen.
Sponsors. All right. So, Ben, why don't you let our beautiful audience know what we're going to be doing with this first episode?
Yep, sure thing. So this is just kind of an introductory episode just to get us, to know, first of all, the audience to know us, and also for everyone else in this booth to know us, because, I mean, we've known each other for about, I'd say, 2 weeks or so. And so, I honestly, I didn't know Aidan was from Texas until just now. And so here in this episode, we're going to take time to get to know each other and also everybody's favorite games. So we're going to be doing a 3x3 grid where we each show off our favorite games, our favorite 9 games, and we explain why we like them, how much time we spent playing them, and just overall laugh at each other's game favorites.
Yep.
That is the plan. So, I mean, we don't really have a specific order. Does anyone want to volunteer to throw themselves to the wolves? And
I think it'll probably just be...
Oh, never mind. Merlin has actually, the voice of God has actually shown us who's in first. I guess I get to go to the wolves first. Merlin, pull up my 3x3. So, for audio listeners, just going
Hey.
in no particular order, just going left to right, top row, starting with the top row. So, I have Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet, Mario Kart Double Dash.
I want to say real quick, I really respect you putting Mario Kart Double Dash. In my opinion, that is the best Mario Kart, the best racing game, period. So,
Well, I'll have to say otherwise as I move down. Top right is Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, and if you'll notice from the visual, it's actually the first and second Knights of the Old Republic game. I didn't want to put one over the other. I feel like it's a package deal, the two are there. Middle left is Osu, the rhythm game. The middle, my magnum opus of gaming, is Overwatch. Middle right is Minecraft. Bottom left, Portal 2. Bottom middle, Star Wars Battlefront 2, the OG from
Classic.
2005.
classic.
And
That's a
then
good
bottom right, which is the greatest racing game of all time, Burnout 3 Takedown.
one. Oh.
Okay, have you ever played Burnout Paradise? It's the only Burnout game
I have
I've
played
ever
Burnout Paradise. Burnout 3 Takedown feels... See, the thing that I love about Burnout 3 and what I feel like EA has lost from the modern Need for Speed games in particular is Burnout 3 feels like an arcade racer. Right? You don't go into Burnout 3 I'm ready for some realistic driving. No. In Burnout 3, you're just running into people, making people do flips off of walls, running them into tuk-tuks in Asia, running them into tankers. There's an entire mode that is dedicated with just driving vehicles off of ramps and causing as much chaos in traffic intersections. You can literally drive a fire truck off of a highway onto the lower ramp.
I do that in real life all the time, to be honest. So.
Yeah.
So you like to be an agent of chaos in your racing games.
Yes, and it's Burnout 3 Takedown, I think, was the last time that a game that had a licensed soundtrack was legitimately really good. The Burnout 3 EA licensed soundtrack that has songs from Fallout Boy, Yellow Card, that sort of thing. The songs that are in that are some really good music. But, and I just enjoy it, and it is my favorite racing game. But like you were saying, Kyle, Mario Kart Double Dash is, in my opinion, and I guess you share that opinion with me, that Double Dash, I think, is probably the pinnacle of Mario Kart racing games. I feel like...
Absolutely. The mechanics of the two racers on each kart changes everything, and it makes it so interesting, and I feel like even more customizable than later games and how you experience it. Of course, 8 Deluxe has more maps and really good ones, but man...
Coconut Mall.
Double Dash, Coconut Mall's great.
Mall.
But man, going through Double Dash, especially when you can have 2 players on each kart, there's nothing like it. And I wish that they would bring back a new Double Dash.
And I feel like Double Dash is simplistic. Whenever I play the newer Mario Kart games, I always feel like they're just the tuning of some of the mechanics is just weird. Especially when I play Mario Kart 8, I feel like the drifting mechanic is weird. Coming from Double Dash. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just off
feel
it.
that.
But
I feel that.
I feel like Double Dash has the most refined driving mechanics while also have like enabling the most chaos, because there's no coin mechanic. There's no one part of the track is faster because the track looks different. There's no like gliding through the air, anti-gravity. It's just go. And something me and my cousins would do all the time when we were younger is we would just do 4 people playing, frantic item boxes, 9 laps, loser trades off, baby park. And we would just go for hours, loser, and we would have just utter chaos ensue for the next 3 hours.
Absolutely, because especially if you get a whole bunch of the 3 green shells, you just fire those puppies off, and like you have no idea who they're going to hit, when they're going to hit. Absolute pandemonium. And the fact that you can also sideswipe other people with your back person on your cart, you can just smack them. Yeah. I love that. Talking about being an agent of chaos. I pull right up to someone and then I hit the right trigger
Knock
and just
on the side.
Bam.
Like, yeah, Double Dash has it only has 16 tracks, but
they're good ones.
I feel like they're really good ones.
There's not a single one that I think was a bad track. Okay, I got a little frustrated with Yoshi Island from time to time, but
I think Wario Coliseum isn't like the greatest map in the world.
Really? I enjoyed Wario Coliseum.
I think Baby Park is just objectively just the best map in existence, but maybe that's just me. Moving to some of my other games, like I don't play a whole lot of Minecraft as much as I used to, but I included it on my grid because like when I was in middle school, like early parts of high school, that was the game that I put all of my time in. I played so much Hunger Games. So much Hunger Games. Battle Royale back before Battle Royales were like really cool. Minecraft Hunger Games is where it was at. Yeah. I didn't really play single player. It was mostly on servers doing mini games and Hunger Games.
Bro, you're making me feel old. I remember the Minecraft multiplayer trends before Hunger Games. I'll get to those later, though. Keep going. Keep going.
I remember Minecraft back when it was still in like its early beta, like before creative mode was a thing. Like, the early forms.
Oh man,
it was so much. When you could play in a browser, okay.
Yeah, no, you could.
I guess you could. We would play a lot in middle school. We would always just bring like the cracked launchers and just put those on the computer. So it's like I was in EcoBots Club in middle school, but it just turned into us just playing Minecraft for an hour and a half every day. But I don't play it as much as I used to. I have started in the last week or so. Started playing it more because me and my roommates have started a Bedrock just world with each other. So it's on the up. It's on the up and up for me.
Oh man, good luck when you fight the Wither.
We'll see how things go.
I'm gonna go out and make a prediction right here. I think, and don't tell me if I'm right or wrong, but I'm going to predict that Minecraft is going to be on everybody's 9 or 3x3.
It could be.
That's my prediction.
Ben's giving us a look. We'll see. We'll see. But I just feel like Minecraft is a foundational game for a lot of us, even if it isn't on our grid. Everybody and their mom has played it at least at some point.
Yeah.
But then it's like a lot of the other games on my list. Like, okay, other than Portal 2, I feel like Portal 2 is like every person who considers themselves a gamer has to have played through Portal 2 at least once. Portal 1 and Portal 2 at least once.
I'm working on... You haven't...
You haven't what?
I haven't played Portal 1.
You haven't played Portal...
Dude, it takes like 4... It's like, what, 4 hours to 5?
If that. Hold on. I've got this pulled up. My total playtime on Portal is 5.4 hours.
There you go.
Yeah, it's not a long
Portal
game.
2 like
beat the
3
game
times,
once and just
Portal
left.
1.
Well, it's like Portal, but you can. Portal 2 is enjoyable without Portal 1, but I feel like Portal 1 is like as foundational as it gets, and then Portal 2 just ramps it up. Because it's like, are you really a gamer if you haven't played Portal 2? I don't think so. And it's like, it's co-op. I feel like it's the perfect way to to limit test a relationship. You're like, am I compatible with this person? Well, let's boot up Portal 2's multiplayer and see how this goes.
Just launchpad them over and over again.
Exactly.
Into lava.
Before you propose to a girl, you have
to do Portal 2
co-op with her to make sure that you guys are going to get through the ups and the downs.
You have to
need
do
to know.
Portal 2. You have to know how well are their problem solving skills when there's nothing on the line but everything's on the line.
How frustrated are they going to get when you portal them into a floor full of spikes for the 7th time?
Time in a row. Exactly.
If you can't troll someone in Portal 2, do you really love them?
Do you really love them?
Do they really love you?
So true.
These are the questions you need to ask in life, guys.
So true. And of course, moving to just the right of Portal 2, honestly, in my opinion, the objectively better Battlefront 2.
Yeah.
Like, EA's take on it was good, and I enjoyed it, but, like, where it started was horrendous. And, where it ended up getting to at the time of it, like, its live service coming down, I thought is what it should have released at, to be honest.
Yeah.
And it was good, but I just feel like the OG Battlefront 2 on, like, the PS2 and the original Xbox and stuff was, like, unmatched levels of, like, these are like big battles.
Right? You felt that sense of scale.
You felt the scale in the OG Battlefront.
And
2.
the maps in the OG Battlefront 2 were just so good. Like
They were really good.
Just like the simulations.
just like the simulation.
Watch those wrist rock.
And the original Battlefront 1, the Kashyyyk map in the original Battlefront 1
so good.
was like with like the you could go up on the little tree houses.
It was
so
I
good.
just and I loved like the heroes versus villains mode, just playing on like Mos Eisley.
No, Mos Eisley, Heroes versus Villains is the OG way you just settle arguments.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, come on,
Go.
But I get Darth Maul though.
It was, dude, Darth Maul was busted in this game. I would have so much fun with it. I feel like its mechanics, the new Battlefront 2 from EA, I just couldn't quite capture that same feeling of just playing Conquest with the control points where you each just control 3. It was always just, I just didn't feel right. I don't know what it was about EA's Battlefront 2, but the OG Battlefront 2, like its space battles are so good.
So fun.
And the music, it's just, I just loved playing the original Battlefront 2. And Star Wars games in general are really great, hence why two of the best RPGs to ever come out, in my opinion, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2. Now, granted, 2 was a mess, but once it was released on Steam and you could get the restored content mod, it was such a good game. I do feel like it's much more complicated than the first one. I feel like the first one is just like about as perfect as a game as you could make in like 2003.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like Knights of the Old Republic kind of tops, or is at least near the top of the list of games that I haven't played but wish I had.
You haven't played either of the KOTOR games.
I have not, and I really wish that I had them. And honestly, if I had the free spending money right now and the time, I would just like buy it on Steam while we're sitting here.
Just play it while we're recording.
I mean, when I bought both of them on Steam, I bought them both for a total of $10 combined.
I need to catch a sale.
But I have played Knights of the Old Republic on 2 different OG Xboxes, on an iPad, on an iPhone, on a Samsung phone, and on my PC. And both of them are they're just so good. And the second one, with it being fully integrated into Steam's like community function, like the mods out of the workshop are just crazy. I mean, basically the community of the second game basically just completed it because it was not finished at release. So things were put all together, and I just really love playing it. Now, granted, it's like the replayability, you can only do so much because you just kind of change, your class, and it's like, do you want to go light side, dark side? And I will be honest, I have never done a dark side run in either of the games because I can't.
Really?
I can't get myself to do a dark
You're
side
just
run.
too nice.
I'm just too nice.
He's just too nice.
That's me with Undertale.
You couldn't.
I
pacifist runs.
I can't do the genocide
you,
run.
You can't get to Papyrus in Undertale and like look in his little eyes and kill him. It can't be done. I can't do it. No one should ever do it.
Like I've gotten to the point in Knights of the Old Republic where it's like you can like just kind of flip the switch and change, but I've never done a whole run from the get-go where I'm just bad. But like some of the dark side powers are nice, like Force Storm with the lightning and like Health Drain are nice, but I can't go dark side. I can't do the dark side choices. I'm like, no, something about it, I just can't do it. Yeah. But I love playing those 2 games, and they are my favorite RPGs to play, hands down. I just love them so much. So, and then
I'm going to interrupt and say that Merlin, our
let's address this.
Our voice from above.
Jason says that only weebs play Osu. Well, I mean, you're not wrong. I would classify myself into that category because my Osu playlist is majority Japanese anime music.
Hey, I'm going to say this. The OPs, so that's the intro song for anyone who doesn't know that term, for anime are always fire.
I wouldn't say always.
Well, but often enough, they're dang good.
There's always a handful of bangers at the very least every season.
Oh, okay. So wait, hold up. For someone who I would also qualify as a weeb, but maybe a little bit less so. What is Osu? I've never heard
So
of it before.
Osu is a rhythm game, first off. Okay. So it's a rhythm game based around clicking circles that have kind of beat timers on them, so they're just circles, and then they have an outer circle that'll close in on the one you need to tap.
Wait a second. Is this that one that people were like, was a trend a few years ago, and people were like destroying their mice and keyboards just to try and play the hard levels on it?
Maybe.
Is that the one people would buy like the left-sided keyboard just to play Osu?
Yeah, so it's like the highest end players typically play it with a drawing tablet, and then they just use you only need 2 keys, because you tap with the keys, but then you move with your mouse or a drawing tablet, and then the difficulty progresses.
Okay, yeah,
so
I've heard of this.
Osu has other modes that they've borrowed from other rhythm games, but the primary game mode in Osu is tapping circles to the rhythm and then having sliders and spinners and that sort of thing to various songs. I've only been playing it since about April. Before that, I was playing Step Mania, which is basically just Dance Dance Revolution but on a keyboard. But then I discovered Osu, and Osu's community support and like map that are being created is so much better than Step Mania's. And so I've just fallen in love with Osu. It's been so much fun to play. And then
I had Osu downloaded on my computer for all of 5 hours.
and then you deleted it?
I deleted it. I couldn't do it. I'm not a fan because, first of all, I didn't use a drawing tablet. So,
well, I mean, I don't either. I use a mouse.
But doing anything with the mouse was terrible. Couldn't enjoy it. And I tried the Dance Dance Revolution style ones.
I love that
the
one.
Keys ones, but
Step Mania is so much fun, but Osu is just. It's got so many more songs, and so I played a whole lot. But continuing on the weeb trend, top left, Sword Art Online, Fatal Bullet.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that one.
So, for those of you unfamiliar with Sword Art Online is an anime, and if you know about it, you do, and if you don't, you don't. I'm just going to leave it at that. So, Sword Art Online has five games, 5 mainline games in the franchise. Fatal Bullet is number 4. 3, I can't count. So there's 3 before it, and I have played number 3, and it's also very good. I've played the first and second ones, and I guess because I started with games 3 and 4, the first 2 were like, get me out of this. They aren't designed very well, but Fatal Bullet I played a lot on the Xbox One. And it's your typical, it's a JRPG. It runs like JRPGs do, and it's like, it runs on gun combat. But like the way that it does it is it uses a game mechanic that is introduced in the actual anime, where it basically has a version of aimbot, but it's called a bullet circle that like kind of oscillates based on how fast you're moving, how steady you are, and it doesn't focus on like crit hit points. It'll just generally target probably the largest mass of the enemy. So if you just are trying to spray at a mob, you're able to just spray. But then you can hold a trigger, and it'll remove the bullet circle, and then you can manually aim if you're using a sniper or something, or if you're trying to get a certain weak point. So, like, its gameplay mechanics are very fluid, and I really like them. And just kind of the exploration and the character customization, because it is the only game in the SAO franchise, or Sword Art Online franchise, where you don't have to play as the anime's main character. You actually get to be your own character.
Oh, okay. So it doesn't make you Sinon. It makes you...
It doesn't make you Kirito. It makes you you.
Yeah.
And Kirito is there, but you're not playing as him. Because the problem in the other games is that you could like customize your appearance, but in all of the cutscenes and any dialogue options, you are Kirito to the other characters. You just look different in the gameplay. But Fatal Bullet, you get to create your own character.
That was interesting because I thought that based on the source material, it would have either made you Kirito or Sinon, but no.
No, so like the game universe follows its own canon, so it doesn't follow the anime or light novel canon. It just takes place in the same games in the show. So Fatal Bullet takes place in Gun Gale Online, but it doesn't follow the Gun Gale Online story. There is a side story where you play as Kirito to do the events, but that's not like the core gameplay. You playing your own original story that they've created.
It's interesting that this comes up now. I'm currently, like, as we speak, I mean, obviously not as we speak, but back at home, I'm currently like right in the middle of my fourth like watch through of Sword Art Online. Like
only
original.
4.
I know.
Those are rookie numbers.
You gotta pump those numbers.
I am exposing myself a little bit by saying that, but
but it just reminds me how good of a series it is. It is.
That would be a controversial take to some people, though.
Really?
I haven't watched it yet.
Some
Would you
people,
recommend it,
the internet hates Sword Art
see,
Online.
even Merlin, Jason, SAO is bad. So it's the general internet consensus, either from people who haven't watched it or have only watched a little, is SAO is bad. It is not a good show. but you have to. It's like it was made like the original light novels were made in like 2010, 2009, and the first anime came out in 2011, 2012.
Yeah, and a thing to note is that Reki Kawahara, the author of the light novels from which Sword Art Online is based, knew very little about gaming and gamer culture, game design when he wrote it. So it does produce some pretty
weird,
interesting plot holes, but honestly, it's still a fun show to watch.
And and the thing is it gets better as it goes on. Like the last couple seasons that take place in later arcs are way better than, the first 2 seasons.
Really?
But a lot of people watch the first 2 seasons and are like, oh, this sucks, and then just stop. Yeah. But like seasons 3 and 4 are actually way better than the first 2. Like it's not,
especially the fairy arc.
Yeah. Like it's
like the fairy arc, I feel like is the low point of the series.
It is. It really is.
It is. It is. But it's
Hands
like
down.
if you just like, okay, it gets better, and it does. And so a lot of people just kind of look at it and they're like, okay, this anime sucks, I'm not going to watch it. And that means they either haven't watched it or they only just watched a little bit of it. Because if you watch all 4 seasons and then objectively still look back and be like, no, that show sucked, I personally will question your scale standard a little bit. So, but the games are really good. The third game, Hollow Realization and Fatal Bullet, are really good games. If you're a fan of Sword Art Online, they're exceptionally fun because you get to play in that universe. If you're not a fan of Sword Art Online, then it would be not as easy to get into because they don't they only give flashbacks to the world and stuff, but they are still good games in their mechanics. So,
is Fatal Bullet the only one that takes place in Gun Gale?
No. So the first game, Hollow Fragment, takes place in SAO, and then the second one, Lost Song, takes place in Fairy Dance. Hollow Realization takes place in a game universe only game, so that one is not in the anime. But then Fatal Bullet takes place in Gun Gale Online, and then the newest game, I don't remember what it's called. I completely just blanked on it. It takes place in the Underworld and Alicization stuff.
Okay, yeah.
So most of the games take place in the in-universe game. But enough about anime. My crowning achievement of gaming is Overwatch. I have played this game practically religiously since 2016. It's the amount of... If you guys had to take a guess at how much time I've spent, not just playing, but interacting with Overwatch, so playing Overwatch, watching Overwatch League, if you had to take a guess at how many hours I've spent on Overwatch, what would be your guess?
$2,000.
$2,000? Ben?
$1,000.
$1,000?
I mean, I was going to say 200, but now I feel like I'm way lowballing it.
200 hours? You were going to say 200 hours.
I mean, these guys, wait.
I'm talking, how many hours? I've been playing this game almost religiously for 6 years. How many hours do you think I've spent interacting with this game? So watching esports, playing the game.
All right, I'm going to go in the middle. 1,500 hours.
So 1,500 hours, $1,000.
Cheap.
$2,000.
Yeah. I'm waiting for him to just tell all of us that these are rookie numbers.
Oh, rookie numbers. How about Kyle, you take your number and multiply it by 3. 6,100 hours, or approximately 254 days, or if you really want to put it in perspective, 3% of my entire life has been spent.
Wait, how did you even calculate that?
It is a rough estimate. So Overwatch does track how much time you spent playing the game, but it doesn't account for time sitting in lobbies and menus. So what I had to do there was because I've played it on Xbox and PC. The Xbox tracker tracks it just the game open. And so what I did was I looked at my Xbox game time and took about the discrepancy percentage between the in-game hours and what Overwatch had, and then used that to determine about how many hours are missing from the PC version. And that came out to about 4,200 hours. But then with the Overwatch League, that one I really had to just spitball. I had to approximate how much Overwatch League I've watched over the last 5 years. And I basically just added up the total watch time if you watched all of the matches, and then just took 85-90% of it and then added them together. So obviously, give or take a couple hundred hours, but when it's at 6,000 hours, a couple hundred is nothing. I could take the total, let me read off the playtime of my other games. So after Overwatch, the next closest of actual recorded time is Fatal Bullet at 162. After that is the second Knights of the Old Republic with 100. But then after that, I start losing exacts. So the first Knights of the Old Republic game, because I've played it on mobile, I've played it on 2 original Xboxes and Steam, I only have my Steam hours. So I've played it for 30 hours on Steam, but I've played through the first Knights of the Republic game at least 6 or 7 times, which is easily over 100, because one playthrough takes at least 20, 30 hours. After that, and then we really start getting like speculative, because then after that, Burnout 3, I have no clue. I've played that thing on 2 original Xboxes, and I played on my computer. None of those have in-game hour trackers, but I know I've 100% of the game twice. I've almost done it a third time, and I've played it just for fun. So it's probably over 100 hours, probably. Same with Minecraft. It's probably over 100 hours. For how much I played it during the 3 years.
It's like, if you haven't sunk 100 hours into Minecraft, have you really experienced Minecraft?
Exactly.
You know?
No, you haven't.
No, you haven't. So Minecraft is probably 100. Double Dash is the same way. I've been playing the game for like 15, 16 years. I'm pretty sure it's I've had at least 100 1-hour sessions. It's probably also over 100. Osu, though, actually does track it. 82 hours on Osu, but I've only been playing it since April. Okay. So it's only been a couple of months.
Fairly new.
And then Battlefront 2, I have 11 hours on Steam, but I played it a lot on the PlayStation 2 with my neighbors. It probably isn't 100 hours. It's probably somewhere around 40 to 50, but I could be wrong. And then my lowest, at least in terms of actual tracked, is Portal 2. But I mean, that makes sense. I mean, how many times can you really play through Portal 2? It's got about 39 hours. Yeah. You take all of those, add them together, and you'd still have to multiply it by like 6 to get close to my Overwatch hours.
Who do you primarily play as an Overwatch?
So typically now I just kind of load in, but if I just got to pick anybody, if I'm playing tank, I go Reinhardt. I just love playing Reinhardt. If I go support, I go Ana, because Ana is just so much fun to play. And then if I'm going DPS, it really depends on the map and which side I'm playing on. Typically, my best heroes, I alternate between Soldier 76, Junkrat, and Torbjorn. But Torbjorn is very situational, depending on the map. Junkrat is as well, but Soldier is typically one that I can always just pull out if needed. But like Ana is so much fun to play. When I first started playing Overwatch, I did a lot of Lucio. I climbed like Grandmaster back in like 2017. I'm way past my prime. I like basically just only played Lucio and got to Grandmaster, but now I just kind of play. I just have fun. Yeah. I'm definitely not as good as I used to be, but I don't have to be. I have fun. So, yeah, that is me as a gamer. As you can tell, there is no rhyme or reason for anything. There's nothing connecting any of those games other than the fact that there's 2 anime-based games and 2 Star Wars games.
Wait, before we go to the next one, I need to know, can you do a good Reinhardt impression? No. Can you try?
No. A German accent is not something I can attempt. I cannot do impressions. It's not. That's not me.
That is that sounds like the doctor from Esports too.
You were trying Reinhardt. That was not it.
Yeah, Reinhardt.
I don't know Reinhardt. No.
His
Don't worry, my friend. Yeah, I am your shield. Like,
it's actually. I mean, it's not. It's not awesome, but it is. Yeah, it's something like that. It's because he's a war veteran against like the robots that invaded a lot of the planet. So he's like a grizzly old man who fought in the war, who's German. And he's a mountain of a man, straight up. Like that guy's like 8 feet tall with a massive amount of armor on him. So
well, you can see where I go for team-based shooters, because I went to the Team Fortress 2 medic as the German impression instead of
That's so funny.
Yeah, but let's move on to the next 3x3. Yeah.
All right,
Ben, why don't you share with us
my good one? All right. So I don't know if we were supposed to do this in a certain order. You had your Overwatch as like the center one, but I think my number one would probably be Minecraft, which I put as like my first at the very top left.
Yeah, mine had no order.
Mm-hmm. But then next I have League of Legends, then Terraria, then that second game, first game on the second line. That is totally accurate Battle Simulator.
I love that game so much.
Yeah, I love that. That is a fun game. But anyways, continue on. Center game is Command & Conquer Generals.
Okay.
Which is an old RTS game back from like early 2000s.
Yeah. Wow.
Bloons TD5.
Yes.
If we're talking about amount of hours I've sunk into games, that's probably high up on there.
Classic.
Okay.
Here is something to fight with Aidan with. I put the new Star Wars Battlefront 2 on there just because, like, I played it when it came out. I didn't like the whole buying everything mechanic.
EA.
But I played it long enough, and I got to a point where I was just better. And so it didn't matter who had bought all this stuff. I would still just beat them every time. And so it was still fun for me, even though I did not put a dime other than buying the game.
Wow.
Did not put a single dime into the rest of it. And so it was perfectly fine. Had lots of fun. Basically, going on to the next one, got Destiny, the original one. I didn't like Destiny 2 that much. I preferred Destiny 1 just for overall story and like gun mechanics, things weren't so complicated.
Yeah.
Destiny 2, I feel like they just kind of...
Destiny 1 felt more like Halo, and I really liked
Well, yeah,
it.
I mean, with Bungie making
Bungie
that's
made
a good way for them to do it. But obviously, how much do you still play it now, though? Now that it's not like live service anymore.
Not really at all. It's just when
Just
I
a
was in
foundational
high
game.
school. That's a game I sunk a lot of time into. And then next we got StarCraft 2.
Classic.
Classic RTS game. Is when I played that when I first went to what's it called? BYUI. Went there for a semester, and I was just like,
StarCraft 2.
I got free time, I'll try this StarCraft 2 game. Had lots
Wow.
of fun with it. And so that kind of got me onto my track of playing games that are on the PC and are top down. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at this. You've got 3 games on there that are top down: Bloons Tower Defense, Command and Conquer, and StarCraft.
and League of Legends.
And League of Legends.
Yeah,
League of Legends is also top
Yeah.
down. I guess
Yeah.
it's a different kind of top down. It's more involved. But I mean, outside, it's like it's like really just Destiny and Battlefront 2 are like the only ones that are. Like, I guess Minecraft is first person.
Minecraft is first
but
person.
like it's not a first person shooter at all.
Yeah.
Like because
It is if you're using a bow.
You know.
wait a minute, Minecraft is a first person shooter. You heard it here first.
And if you get mods,
It can
you can-
really be a
you
first
can
person.
really-
Minecraft could be a MOBA if you get mods.
Minecraft can be anything you want if you have mods.
Yeah.
it's very true.
One of my favorite things I used to do with Minecraft is I would go into this server. I can't remember which one it was, but they had a CS:GO game mode
Oh,
where it was
my
literally
gosh.
just a
Oh,
copy
man.
of
Yeah.
CS:GO.
That
and
sounds
then-
amazing.
You could get this resource pack, and
That
it
made
gave
it
you
look like
access,
it.
and it literally like you had all this stuff, but it just turned it into guns and whatever, and they make the gun sounds. And so I played that.
I think I played that a lot on like Hypixel. Or was I think the one that I
It might have been
remember
Hypixel.
playing that
Yeah.
one on. But I mean, they had all sorts. I mean, they had like Super Smash mobs on like Mineplex.
Yeah, I remember. I used to do a
There
lot
were
of Mineplex.
those servers got really creative with the game modes that they used, and then they just like forced the resource pack download. And like there was one, I think it was also on Hypixel. There was like the Star Wars game mode they had, and they had a resource pack downloaded, but it like only kind of like changed the weapons. But like what I would do is I would mute Minecraft's music and just put like Star Wars battle music on
There you
shuffle,
go.
and just got fully ingrained in the Minecraft Star Wars
That's how you
experience.
do it.
Get that Samuel Kim Star Wars music.
Yeah, Samuel Kim. So there was this, I think it was on Mineplex, but I could be wrong. There's this one that was a game mode that was basically just a recreation of the Battle of Helm's Deep.
Oh,
Instead
yes,
of
I
orcs,
remember
it
that
was
one.
zombie pigmen.
Oh, yeah.
And skeletons.
That was
that
so
one.
much
And there was a
fun.
night class that could place down fences.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hold on, I want to
Oh,
play
man.
this now.
You didn't play these?
I think they lost
played
it
some
though
of these, but
because
not that
like
one.
a lot of things changed a few years ago when Mojang really cracked down on these different like modded multiplayer
Well,
servers.
You mean Microsoft?
Sorry,
Yeah.
Microsoft. Right. Sorry, Mojang. Microsoft.
Mojang, you did nothing wrong.
Mojang,
We love you.
We understand.
we love you, Mojang.
We love you, Mojang.
Screw you, Microsoft. I mean, I'm
Phil
kidding.
Spencer.
Good old Spencer. No,
So with Minecraft, I would probably wage. I'm sitting somewhere around 1,000 to 2,000 hours.
I could be as well. It's just like because it's just like it doesn't track multiplayer playtime. It just tracks single player. And if you're primarily a multiplayer, you have no idea. You have to spitball it. You really have to be like, I think I played this much, and that's really it. So we could all probably be potentially like that. We're like, we don't know how long we played, but we played a lot and we have fond memories. So 1,000 hours.
Yeah, just 1,000, 2,000, put it
Just
in
a
there.
few more 1,000 hours.
Sprinkle more in there.
Yeah.
But I love the game. I love playing with my little brother. That's something I do all the time. We just we have a realm that we use together, so we'll just get together and have a world, do stupid stuff on it. Lots of fun.
It's just a good game.
Yeah, going on to my second one, I got League of Legends. That is actually a game I did not start up until about a year and a half ago.
Really?
I got back home from my mission in the very end of 2020, and then I had a companion of mine on the mission who told me, "Hey, you should try League of Legends. It's a good game." And I always told myself before, "Nah, League of Legends is
See,
a
that's
game
where
for
that's where
nerds."
they get you. They're like, you should try it. And if you haven't made the commitment before of going, no, I will not. That's Exhibit A, ladies and gentlemen.
Ben was out there trying to teach the gospel. His companion was out there trying to convert to League of
Convert to
Legends.
League of Legends.
And so I always told myself before, "Nah, League of Legends is a game for nerds." I was like a big Imagine Dragons fan, And so when I saw they
okay.
made a League of Legends
Yeah,
song,
they did one of the
They
world
did.
songs.
I was like, wow, Imagine Dragons have fallen so far. But now look at me.
that was your
So-
like, oh, they played League of Legends music? Bad.
Bad.
Cringe.
Cringe, yeah.
Cringe.
So for League, I'd wager probably somewhere around, I say around 200 per year, so probably around 400 hours in total.
It doesn't just tell you an exact?
There is, but I haven't looked at it in a while. I
He
just
wants,
kind
he wants to spare himself.
He wants to spare himself.
Yeah,
He's like, I haven't fallen that deep, have I? No.
honestly, I just play the game. And so Merlin's asking me, what role do I play? I play mostly support. That's kind of my thing. It's the easiest role to play by far if you're trying to go into like competitive stuff. Mm-hmm. It's more like, you're just looking to harass a little bit, move around the map, and just generally be annoying. You don't have to worry too much about like the
That's my
finer
real life
details.
philosophy, actually.
Just do a wee bit of trolling, but not go too
Just
deep.
be annoying a little bit.
And so for support, I started as a Pantheon support main, which is basically like a Spartan. Mm-hmm. But then he got uber nerfed for support.
Yeah,
so,
you love it. Patch notes.
so he wasn't very good for support anymore. Then I played Rakan, and that was kind of my thing up until this year. Rakan's like just this bird person who is super weird and just jumps around all the time. Fun guy. You should listen to his voice lines. Basically, y'all ever watch, what's that show? How I Met Your Mother? He's basically Barry.
All right, interesting.
So, anyways,
Oh,
The crossovers are getting crazy now.
the League of Legends How I Met Your Mother crossover.
he literally has a line straight from How I Met Your Mother.
Seriously?
Yeah, it's just like, when I'm sad, I stop being sad and be awesome instead. It's literally a line from How I Met Your Mother.
Wow.
Dang.
Oh, okay.
So, but then I started getting actually competitive. I wanted to get to gold before the season ended. And so I played this champion called Seraphine, who's like this pop singer, basically. Hate her so much. Dumb champ, but uber broken.
You,
And so
you have to play her.
I have to play her. Managed to go up like 5 tiers, so
That's funny.
that's good for me. But
That's really funny. So then this next one, Terraria versus Minecraft.
Wait.
Usually,
Is it Terraria or Terraria?
I guess it depends on who you ask. I pronounce it Terraria.
I
pronounce-
say Terraria.
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 Okay, so
I always pronounce it Terraria.
I don't. Maybe there's a right way or a wrong way. I
I
don't
think
know.
the official is Terraria, but I'm so used to
Merlin-
saying Terraria.
Terraria.
Merlin,
Terraria?
tell us what we.
Merlin, what is it?
Gaze into the
Dis-
crystal
He's
Spencer
over here
ball.
wisdom.
Google. He's like he has to
Spencer
wait for
wisdom.
Google. But like, usually it's like how do you feel like they compare? Because obviously Terraria is a side view. It's not a first person. But they share a lot of the same basic mechanics of the exploration. So like between the
Exploration,
two,
blocks.
yeah, between the two, which do you prefer?
Minecraft is definitely better, but it's depending on what you're feeling. Because Terraria is so much more expressive with what you can do, and so Google says
Terra?
Terra.
Wait. Terraria.
Okay, so it's Terraria in America and Terraria in.
Britain.
In Britain.
Guess
Well,
I'm British.
yeah,
I mean,
Congratulations, Kyle. You found out you're not actually American.
I personally prefer to play Terraria.
There it is.
There you go. Yep.
There it is.
So I really think Terraria is a very good game. I think both are really good games. They have a very good relationship where at the start screen, Minecraft will say,
Yeah.
like that little yellow bar says try Terraria. And then Terraria, little like message will say try Minecraft. So they know that they're like basically the same game.
And I feel
but
like
have a good,
they feel different niches.
Oh, yeah.
Like you don't go like in Terraria, it's like all the exploration and all of that stuff. But then Minecraft has that side of like you can just build in creative mode, so it has that kind of construction side of it. Whereas Terraria, because of its side view, you can't really do. You can't obviously do
you
the 3D.
can do some pretty
There are
elaborate
some
construction
crazy-
Yeah.
in that game, though.
Terraria. Terraria.
Oh, the developers are British.
All right, there we go. Exposed.
There we go.
All right.
Once they're like not actually British.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I'm still going to say Terraria, but yeah, I think it's just a generally very good game.
Yeah.
I've sunk a lot of time into that. I started playing the game on mobile because I had
Fair
a
enough.
friend of mine
Really?
in school. Yeah,
Fair enough.
I had a friend of mine in school who he was like, "Hey, you should try this game. We could play together or whatever." And so I didn't have a computer at the time, And my
That'll
mom,
do it.
My mom wouldn't let me get games on computer, so I got it on my little phone.
You make do, right?
You make
Life
do, yep.
finds a way.
Finds a way.
And had lots of fun playing with my friend, and
I love it.
still play it to this day. Not as much, though, because I've been in grinding League, but
Of course.
still very good.
See,
game.
I actually had a similar experience with it. I got it on my phone because my junior year of high school, the girl that I liked would play Terraria
No
on her tablet
way, dude.
all the time.
Cort, you're telling me you started
Sim.
playing Terraria because this
Because
girl
I'm a
that
simp?
you were a simp?
He did it for love.
Did it
it for love.
No.
Yeah.
I can't believe it.
But there,
It's
in my
beautiful.
number one in the second row, I've got Totally Accurate Battle Simulator,
I love
which
that game.
I think is the perfect example of how a game cannot take itself seriously.
It's such a dumb game, like fundamentally, but it's so funny. You're like, have you ever wondered what would happen if I took 2 archers and placed them up against a bunch of animals, but the archers are on a hill?
And also,
But-
the archers are made of noodles.
They're made of
Yeah.
noodles.
They are well aware that their physics engine is just completely bonkers.
Yep.
Their guys move around like they're made of jelly, like you just said, Cort. And it's overall just very goofy.
It's so fun.
And they just had to slap on googly eyes on the people and make the name totally accurate.
Totally
Battle
accurate.
Simulator.
Totally accurate
And
battle
so-
simulator.
Totally fits with how you want to
It's
make a
so
game
fun.
not take itself seriously. It's so much fun.
So
though.
much fun.
It's very customizable, and it has like the whole point system for when you get units. So my brother and I would just spend time, like, I'll use 1,500 credits here, and you'd use 1,500 credits on your side, and then we just battle, see who's better.
It's just so, you're like, all right, how long can one trebuchet last against a bunch of horsemen? Good luck.
What I'll always do is they, at least on the Steam version, they have like a custom unit creator. And then they have the Steam Workshop that allows you to download.
That's
And
right.
I've found some that are just like, I downloaded one custom unit that was like Saitama from One Punch Man. And then one that was like Goku, and then one that was like
But can he beat Goku?
the one that was
beat Goku.
Shaggy, Ultra Instinct Shaggy. Oh no! And I just like pitted them against each other, and it was just like they were
Yeah.
like
No,
it was so, and they just destroyed any other unit in the game. Like it was
That's
so
but
hilarious.
who emerged victorious?
Shaggy. Ultra
Shaggy
Shaggy.
can beat
Shaggy.
Goku. All right,
Shaggy
there it
can
is.
beat Goku.
Totally
There we
Accurate
go.
Battle Simulator said so.
I think that resolves
There it
that
is.
debate.
That debate.
So the next one, we've got Command and Conquer Generals. I started playing this game because my dad was playing it. So
That tells you the age of the game a little bit, yeah.
some of my earliest memories of just being back in my very first house, where it was just like my parents and then my 2 siblings. We were just all in this tiny little house, and my dad had his little office thing set up, and whenever he finished with his work stuff, he would just start playing this game, and I would just sit behind him on my little stool or whatever and watch him play. It was lots of fun, but like it's very nostalgic for me. And then when I came here to BYU, I re-downloaded the game, and I was just like hearing the music and the voice lines were just so nostalgic for me.
Oh,
And
yeah,
so
I bet.
I really like this game. I used to play a lot of it. Like when my dad finally let me start playing the game, I would play as much as I could and try and beat him, but I never did.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah.
And then just overall, a very good game. Kind of like, the original Command and Conquer was like along the lines of Red Alert and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But came out a whole bunch of games, and so I really like Generals, and I think it's just
They're classics. RTS game. I could never get into RTS games. Like same with StarCraft.
Mm-hmm.
They maybe it's just because they weren't my kind of game. Like those kind of strategy based. It didn't feel fast enough. I guess it's like I love Bloons Tower Defense, which I guess technically you could consider to be like a weird version of an RTS.
yeah,
Bloons Tower Defense is a gritty war game.
yeah.
Deep, and graphic.
deep graphics. It really gets to the core of warfare and how it makes you feel. But like RTS games, I could never personally get into them, but I understand that they are very well beloved games, and that it's just like it's just a genre that some people like, some people it isn't for everybody. But I understand that they are very good games. Like StarCraft 2 holds so much name value. So
Yeah, very good esports too.
Yeah.
But going on, last on the second row.
Oh,
we've
the
got
biggest
Bloons.
esport.
Yeah, the biggest esport, Bloons Tower Defense. All right,
Of course.
crazy game, like you said, brutal war.
Absolutely.
Blood,
I still
gore,
have
the whole
flashbacks of all the
shebang.
popping balloons,
It's
Honestly, I think Bloons Tower Defense is probably one of the best executions of a tower defense game.
it's
That's
so
true.
where
good.
it's so simple, and so easy to understand, but it has such just like, so much scale expression that you can reach because you can get to like, round 5 million or whatever. I don't know.
It just doesn't stop. It just keeps going.
No, I think that the Star Wars: The Clone Wars MMO that came back when I came out when I was in middle school had the best tower. This sarcastic guy's laugh.
Mm-hmm.
They had this tower defense game that was Clone Wars themed, and it was.
I don't
mediocre.
remember that
I
one.
don't remember that either.
Yeah, you see what I mean?
Oh, okay. Point made. Because, I remember when Bloons Tower Defense 5 was announced.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was like, it's coming out on mobile. Because I had the fourth one. And I remember going to like the ninja.com, right? That was what it was? Or was it
Ninja Kiwi.
Ninja Kiwi.
Ninja Kiwi.
And they were like, Bloons Tower Defense 5 is not going to be free to play. You have to buy it. And I was like, I don't care. I'm buying it. Bloons Tower Defense 4 was such a good game. 5, I loved playing it. It was just the progression of the units is just so well done, and it's so consistent across all of the games that even if you started with 1 or 2 and you get to 5, you still understand that the super monkey eventually levels up. But then you get to the 5th one, you're like, I'm getting a sun god, and there's nothing you can do about it.
These balloons don't stand a chance.
Exactly.
Yep. But then that brings me down to bottom row. You got Star Wars Battlefront 2. You mentioned that like had a very rough start, which is true, but I always enjoyed it. I played mostly as like the sniper class, which they introduced. Because the thing is, I really wanted that one-hit kill.
The one-hit
rifle,
kills is good, yeah.
and I had to grind for it. I didn't buy it for free. So
in the first 2 weeks of release,
I didn't buy it just to be cool or whatever. So I grinded for it, and I found this really cool little system where there was this sniper rifle that you could take off the front of it, and it made it like a burst rifle. And then I ran around as this little squishy guy with a burst rifle that would just instantly pop anyone.
Yeah.
Because if you managed to hit him with all 3 shots, they were just done, no matter who they were. So it was so much fun because I used like the radar tracker thing.
and you just hunt him down.
And I just hunt him down. They would come around the corner, just brap, brap, just done. And it was
He's actually out here stalking them.
It was so much fun.
That
but then
sounds
finally
really
I got
satisfying.
But eventually I did get that one-hit kill sniper, and it was just lots of fun.
It's so satisfying. In any game, a one-shot is so nice to hit.
Unless you're on the receiving end.
Of course. You think you're like, no,
Sitting there, and
not
then suddenly
legit.
just, boop, you're dead.
Not legit. Run it back. I wasn't looking.
Yeah, so
Lag. It was a lag.
I will say, so I played a good amount of Battlefront 2 back in the day, but I more recently got back into it because the modding scene.
The modding scene is hilarious.
Oh my goodness.
So good. I got a good. Talking is hard. I got a big group of my friends, and we basically. So they made it so that you can have like custom modded multiplayer servers now.
Yep.
With this whole Kyber system that they have now, and it's like. We got like a big group and we just downloaded all these mods that added like new heroes and new weapons and
They're
tons
so
of different,
good.
like even new maps and stuff. And we just played for like hours.
Oh man.
So much fun.
For me, the reason why Battlefront 2, why the new one isn't like a game that I like played have high on my list of favorite games is because I didn't play it a whole lot. Because the problem was it came out in 2016, right? The end of 2016, wasn't it?
I think
That sounds about right.
No. It was 2017.
Yeah.
So like its release, by that point I was already head deep in Overwatch. And at that point I was like, yeah, this new game is great. Like I owned it, but I was like, but I've got another game that I enjoy way more. Lucio is calling me, you know?
Yep.
You
And
can't
like
say
it
no
was,
to that.
and that was like right when the Overwatch League was about to take off. So it was like Battlefront 2 for me was not released at a time where I was looking for a game to play. Whereas the OG one, I was like in elementary school, you know, and my neighbors had it, and that was like so much fun to play. So, but when I did play Battlefront, because I played it at release, and it was a nightmare, a textbook definition of how not to handle a live service game on launch.
Yeah.
But then, like, when I came back to it, like, the end of 2018, I was like, okay, no, this game feels really good. It's really well played. But by that point, I wasn't invested in playing it at all. But it is a very good game. It plays very well. And the modding scene is phenomenal.
Yeah, I watched a video from the Russian Badger on YouTube. He does videos about, like, modded games, and he had a funny one about modded Battlefront 2.
They're so good.
Nothing like running around with Luke Skywalker, where the only difference is he has a tiny little mustache and he hits people with a baguette.
I love it. It's
Or
just so
running
fun.
around as Yoda, but he's not Yoda. He's Sans from Undertale, Smash Bros. Model.
Yep.
They're so funny.
man.
I love the modding scene.
But going on, we've got the original Destiny, which I still think is a very good game. I played it because I went over to visit my uncle one time. He lived in Chicago at the time, and he like showed he had all these games. He had Last of Us, Destiny, and I played it. And then next thing you know, I told him I really liked the game, but fortunately I don't have money for it. I go back home 2 weeks later. I get a package in the mail, and it's the Destiny Taken King disc thing.
What a clutch. Your uncle
Oh,
actually just
yeah.
came in clutch with that one.
What
So-
a Chad.
What a Chad.
And he got you Taken King, too. That was the best expansion.
Yep, there you go.
Mm.
So, yeah, thank you, Uncle Matt. And it's just generally a very good game.
What Halo could have been.
What Halo
The
Infinite could
original
have
three
been.
Halos were really good.
Yeah.
Could have been.
What Halo-
It still could have been. I think my point stands.
Yeah.
That's true.
I still think the overall like loot system is a little too stacked against you. Like it's way too hard to get good loot. But other than that, still fun to play. I haven't played it in a while just because I only have it for PlayStation, and PlayStation's still back in Virginia. But oh well, I still think it's fun to play. And then last one, StarCraft 2. I really enjoyed the story mode.
There's a story mode? Mm-hmm. Shows what I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. StarCraft is actually pretty well praised for its story.
Yeah,
It's got-
the extent of my StarCraft 2 knowledge is that it's a very big esport, or was a very big esport and still exists, but it's like not.
It's not as big as it
Yeah.
was,
The
yeah.
extent of my StarCraft 2 knowledge is that Ben plays it.
Yeah, there you go.
Nice.
So, yeah, StarCraft 2, same kind of thing as an RTS game where you're looking top down and controlling all your little units or whatever to fight each other. But I generally more enjoyed versus AI just because people were way too good at the game and I just started. So,
An actual skill issue.
I feel that. I feel that.
so I just played versus AI where I could just take all the time I wanted and just build up my army to be as big as possible and then see how fast I could melt my CPU by
Wow.
having them all clash at the same time.
Wow, he's actually load testing his PC.
So,
What a way to do it.
When it gets really cold and you just need like
Yep.
a heat source in your room.
We
just
ran out of wood in the
run
fireplace. Oh, let me just run StarCraft 2 real quick. Give it a couple minutes.
The oven's out. Oh, there's going to be a lot of
No, if the oven's out, you're gonna need to play Minecraft with shaders.
That will
the
also do it.
RTX shaders.
RTX shaders, of course.
Yeah.
That's so funny. That's really funny.
so I think next, though, we've got Big Man Kyle. with
Yeah,
the
we got
deep-
me.
The deep one. Ready? It's just going to be 9 of the same genre, just the same series, right?
Just
It's just
Genshin Impact
Minecraft.
over.
Absolutely. It's
Just
all-
Genshin Impact and a bunch of spin-offs.
No.
Okay, so I decided to play a prank on everyone. For those of you who are listening,
Doki Doki
I made a
Literature
3x3 that was all just Doki Doki Literature Club and an inside joke on the bottom right. This is not my 3x3.
that's awesome.
I'm pretty sure we
but-
made a no Doki Doki Literature Club rule at the beginning of this podcast.
That is so funny. It's just Monica.
Just Monica. I am the only thing you need.
Oh no!
I took those words to heart.
It's just
So,
7
no.
Doki. It's just a bunch of Doki.
I have
Doki
never
Doki
played
Literature.
that game. Let's move on to the real one.
Oh man!
Here's
There
my
we
real
go.
3x3.
Hey,
Yeah, so you'll see a
game.
few similar ones. Minecraft is on there, of course.
And Terraria,
So
yeah.
every game, I have a different reason for putting it on there. Obviously, all of these are solid games. So Minecraft is definitely my game in the top right, where it's just like I have easily
the
sunk
game.
thousands
Oh, it
of.
is.
Yeah, in my opinion, although it's not my favorite video game, I think that Minecraft is the ultimate video game.
Yeah.
Because of how moddable it is, it can become any type of gameplay you need it to be. And I'm going to be completely honest. I love Minecraft. I adore modded Minecraft. Modded Minecraft is better to me than, like, I don't know, what's something that's really good?
BYU Creamery.
Than the
Ice cream.
creamery
Cream
ice
milk.
cream.
There it
Than
is.
Cookies and
Cookies
cream
and
milk.
cream milk.
If I had to choose between modded Minecraft and the cookies and cream milk, I'd pick the cookies and cream milk.
Wait,
No.
wait,
No, that's
I
fair.
would
That's
pick,
fair.
I would pick modded Minecraft. I would pick modded
wait.
Minecraft. I have sunk many hours into Minecraft. I have sunk thousands into modded Minecraft. I love it. Every so often
awesome.
I'll pick it up with a new mod pack and just keep playing. It is so good.
The Better Minecraft mod pack is
It is really good.
perfection. If
Yeah,
you guys want to
literally
try that.
just quality of life improvements.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
so nice.
Yeah. There's a lot of just good stuff out there. I love like the heavy tech and magic mods, the world exploration mods. I just so good. Right next to it, the top middle. I'm going in a different order than you guys. That's
Yeah, you are.
interesting.
What is wrong with you?
Yeah, I'm just different, okay? I'm built different. Age of Empires 2 is my real-time strategy game. I grew up playing this when every game you bought was on CD, you know. Oh, yes, and our editor agrees.
Merlin
He
knows.
freaking loves that game. It's so good. It is so good. In my opinion, you can't get a better real-time strategy than Age of Empires 2. It's not that I've played a ton of that genre, but it's just so solid. Every single different nation you could pick to play as is viable and has legitimate differences in strategy and how you can use them. But at the same time, some of the basic things that are available for all of them are still usable. So while you're learning what makes that civilization unique, you can still use those regular units while you're getting used to it. It's just so good. And the music is a banger. The visuals are very good. And they're still updating it. The definitive edition on Steam, they're still taking care of the game. They're doing competitive matches. They're putting out officially made mods that you can earn by playing the game. There's no pay to win. It's just dang good.
It's an actual buy once you get the whole game.
Yeah, buy once you get the whole game.
No, I think that's illegal in 2022.
With live service.
no, without a battle pass.
Without a battle pass.
No, that's actually. I think that's against the Geneva Convention. It's actually, I think that might actually be written in there in the fine print.
Just down to the bottom, they're like, no.
No,
No. Yeah, well, I guess I'm a rebel for kicks because I play Age of Empires 2. I recently got back into it on the definitive edition. My wife and her family all play that game. We
Wow.
play it together, and me and my brothers played it, especially me and my older brother, Darren. My younger brother's not as much, but this is a game that's near and dear to my heart and has been for many years. Going over, we've got Terraria, right? It's just so good. Honestly, Minecraft, again, we've talked about Minecraft and Terraria. I feel like Terraria has the better combat and the more nuanced combat with tons of different gear, weapons, armors, potions, and stuff. Minecraft has fun combat. And I should say, one of my favorite experiences in Minecraft ever was Mine Z. Do any of you guys remember Mine Z?
I played it a handful of times. Yeah.
Mine Z was something I put tons of hours into. I loved it so much. I darn near started writing a fanfic of how a narrative would go in Mine Z.
Okay.
Hey, that's not cringe.
That's not cringe.
Merlin, can we get a cringe count?
Cringe count. Put it on one.
Cringe, yes.
No,
because that's-
Minecraft's PvP, I loved it, and that was actually part of the reason why I stopped playing it when I did, was because once the 1.9 update came out and changed combat to having the
cooldown.
the cooldown.
The cooldowns.
It-
The cooldowns
it-
kind of messed it up.
For someone who is primarily a Hunger Games player,
Yeah. It changed it too much.
I hated it.
Yeah, I don't like it as much. I mean, we were always asking for shields, but the cooldowns definitely did bother me. I remember, just back in the day where if you were on a multiplayer server and PvP was enabled, you'd crouch and you'd spam blocking with your sword as a salute to tell people hey, I'm friendly.
Well, it was also it was also a PvP strat in order to
Yeah, because then you'd lure
take
them
less
in
damage.
with that, and then you'd get
you'd block hit.
So many jerks on Mine Z would do that.
You'd block hit.
Yeah, but
you'd
if
take
you
less
find
damage.
a guy who would legitimately, give you that, and they were friendly, and you could team with them. Oh, that was amazing.
Yeah.
You go with this stranger, you go explore
The
and fun
universal
stuff.
team sign.
It was
Nothing
very
quite
good.
like it.
Yeah. But back onto Terraria, just a dang solid game. And it's the first one where I have a decent estimate of the number of hours I've played. I'm on this Steam account. I've played it on multiple Steam accounts. On this one, I'm 285 hours. I am sure I'm well over 400 with what I played on the old account. It's just fun, and you can do stuff. We've already talked about it, so I'm not going to go too much more into it.
Yeah.
Directly below Terraria,
What is that?
Is that just a really up close picture of Legend of Zelda?
Yeah, is that
yeah,
Breath of
that
the
is-
Wild?
That's
The
Link
Legend of
burning
Zelda
right
Breath
there.
of the Wild. I decided to have fun with that picture. Instead of just finding, some nice cover art, I picked a great picture of Link burning. Because it's just
That's really funny.
yeah, it's hilarious. In my opinion, one of the best role-playing games of all time, one of the best video games of all time, period, is Breath of the Wild. It's so good. There's so many things you can do. You're constantly still finding out new stuff. I mean, new features features of the game or new fun exploitable glitches are still being discovered.
Oh, yeah.
You know? And recently a couple people have made mods to play it multiplayer with your friends, so that just makes it even
Which is
more appealing.
incredibly fun, by the way.
It is. You've done it?
I have.
Oh, I want to do it so bad. This game is just... every hour I've spent playing that game, I've been like, I love this
I regret
game.
nothing.
I regret nothing. My brothers and I, my younger brothers and I, we pooled our money to buy a Switch and Breath of the Wild, and for months that was the only game we had, and we didn't even care because Breath of the Wild is so good.
Nice.
It's just, I love it. In the middle is my favorite game of all time.
Final
and this
Fantasy.
is for both like how good the game is and also nostalgic reasons. Let me tell you, when I was a small little child, we would go up to Washington, to my grandparents' house on my mother's side. They lived remote out into the dry areas of eastern Washington in the farmland. And my brothers and I would go downstairs and we would play on the old Super Nintendo.
Oh my gosh.
And we would play Final Fantasy VI, which was called Final Fantasy III because of when it was released in the Americas. It was the third one that had been brought over here. Kind of funny how that turned out. But let me tell you. First of all, mechanically, you have a very hard time finding a more solid JRPG than Final Fantasy VI. Every character plays differently. Every character is viable, and they all just have such great personalities. Story-wise, it is easily the best of the Final Fantasy franchise. Yes, I will fight someone over that. Final Fantasy VII is great.
He will throw hands.
Don't get me wrong. Final Fantasy VII is amazing, but Final Fantasy VI is a better story. Sorry. Not sorry.
Wow.
Cloud is crying in the corner.
Actually crying.
Cloud is crying in the corner while Tara Branford is T-posing to assert her dominance. and honestly, the pixel art is gorgeous. You will never find better pixel art than in Final Fantasy VI. Some people have made some good contenders in Terraria builds and Octopath Traveler, but Final Fantasy VI is gorgeous and amazing in every way, and it's an integral part of my childhood. Fight me, this is the best game of all time.
All right.
To the right of it, Aidan, you guessed it, is Genshin Impact.
I have no objections to that one.
Yeah, honestly, I know people give it a lot of flack on the internet, but that's because they haven't played it, and they're like, weeb game bad, first-person shooter good. Look, go play your Call of Duty, go onto your CSGO for the 9 millionth time, I don't care. Genshin Impact is a legitimately fun game.
It's a very good game.
It is not a Breath of the Wild knockoff, though for the first little bit it will feel like that because there's a lot of similar mechanics. Believe me, once you get into the story, it'll become very different.
And really, is that so much of a bad
And
thing?
that is not a bad
if
thing.
you're going to copy a game and have
Breath of the
some
Wild
mechanics-
is the one to copy.
Exactly. Genshin Impact is a legitimately good game. The story just keeps getting better and better with each new update. Yes, there is a gacha system. It's honestly pretty forgiving as far as gacha systems go.
I'll be honest, like
It's
the
not
gacha
bad.
system in Genshin, before I started playing Genshin like a month ago,
Oh, you started playing it?
I did.
Hey,
and
good on you.
because I've played my fair share of gacha games, and the easiest way to tell a gacha game is when it's you're doing the intro tutorial, and as a part of the tutorial, it requires you to pull for units. It's like, here is the premium currency. You must pull for a unit. You must pull.
Yeah.
Genshin, it just kind of goes, you can go here to pull if you want. All right, next thing. Like, they
Right.
don't force
It's
you
like,
to do anything.
and it's like, here's this beginner's thing that gives you an increased chance to get this unit that's very useful in the beginning of the game. You can use it. You don't need to use it.
Yeah.
It'll be there whenever you want it. And I got to say, that's actually how I got my first main character in the game was Noelle, because she has this claymore and haha, big sword, go whack. That was very satisfying.
True.
So here's a quick question.
Yeah.
How would you explain a gacha game to someone who doesn't
Right.
know what a gacha
So
game
the
is?
gacha system is a wishing system. It's kind of similar to loot boxes, but it's not as much of a depraved sin.
Actually, it may be worse.
Well, okay, depends on the game. My experience with gacha has been Genshin Impact, which is a pretty forgiving system
Yeah.
as far as they go. Basically, you get this in-game resource. You spend it to pull these wishes. A lot of people call them pulls. They're wishes, typically, in the actual terminology
It's a
of the
lottery
game.
system.
And it'll give you items in the system, typically of different like rarities, like 3-star, 4-star, 5-star is kind of a pretty common system to do. And then of higher rarities, they tend to have higher base stats. They tend to be really good. The funny thing in Genshin Impact, though, is that a lot of the 4-star units in the game are just some of the most broken,
yeah.
useful. You need them for like all the like super best team compositions in the game. And then there's 5-star ones that are still really good, but like they all rely on these amazing 4-star supports that are pretty easy to get. The gacha system, it allows on like rotating wishes, so there will be like these things called banners. They'll have a certain 5-star character and multiple 4-star characters that have increased drop rates for when you wish for them, and that keeps it. They do rely on FOMO, right? Fear of missing out, and so you need to temper yourself if you have. Like a problem with addictive habits, addictive gambling habits, don't play a gacha game.
Don't play a gacha game.
Just don't. You spare yourself, spare your wallet. You know,
Genshin may
is a
be one of the
game-
more forgiving ones.
It's very forgiving, and it's a game you can be free to play for your entire playthrough and clear all the content in the game.
Yeah, I haven't pulled once.
Yeah, and there are people who have been posting on Reddit and stuff like, "Hey, day 458 of being a free to play entirely. You know, here's me clearing the hardest content in the game." I mean, it's a lot harder when you're not like
If you're good at video
wishing,
games, you don't need
but
to wish a bunch.
Yeah, it's very skill based. And there's a lot of rewards the game gives you for doing various things, especially if you stay current with all the events and stuff. I mean, the fan base is constantly complaining about wanting to get more in the rewards, but compared to other games, it's very forgiving.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how the gacha mechanic works. But the nice thing about Genshin Impact is the fact that they're constantly getting income means that they can create this game that they release more content every so often, and it just gets better with time.
Yeah, they don't rely on the gacha system to drive the game. Typically where you'll see the gacha system is in mobile games.
Mm-hmm.
And so where like the entire revenue of the game comes from people spending money to get the premium currency to pull whatever weapon or character they want. And in mobile games, the gacha systems are
Usually pretty bad.
Usually pretty
If you've
bad.
heard of what happened with Diablo Immortal, you'll know how bad they can be. But again, Genshin's pretty good on that. And again, I don't want to focus so much on the gacha. I want to focus on this is a good game.
It's a good game.
It's a fun game. The characters are interesting. All of the major characters are fully voice acted, and they've got a fantastic cast of voice actors.
the music is really
the
good,
music
too.
is amazing. I actually sometimes unironically just put it on SoundCloud and just listen to the music from this game because it's so good.
Yeah.
The visuals are gorgeous. The gameplay is very satisfying. The element mechanic and the different weapon types characters will have is very fun. It's just all around a great game. And originally I was hesitant because I just kept seeing ads for like the mobile version of it because it's cross-platform. But then my wife formally introduced me to it. She was playing it with her brother, and she was like, "You got to try this game," and I was hooked.
Yeah.
Out of all these games, that's the one I've played the most in like the past year.
Mm-hmm.
I've recently gone off of it a little bit because I'm just like wanting to take a break, refresh, do some new things, and also because school is kind of ridiculous for me right now. But dang, it is a good game.
It's good.
Okay, moving along. This spot I haven't put them in here on any particular order except the center one. We're down in the bottom left. I have had so many games I wanted to put in here. The original Super Mario World, again with the nostalgia thing on the Super Nintendo at my grandparents' place. I've considered Mario Kart Double Dash. I've considered Portal 2. There's so many great games I would love to have in there. But Starbound, I decided to pick here because for the first several hours of playing this game, I was just like, I love this game. And I found myself saying it out loud. Starbound is basically Space Terraria. That's the easiest way to put it.
That's like how whenever I've seen it, I haven't played it, but whenever I've seen it, I'd be like, oh, it's just like
It's Space Terraria.
a similar Terraria game.
It's sci-fi Terraria, and it's just so fun. I mean, admittedly, I kind of wish that they were still adding more content, but there's a fresh and alive modding scene that allows you to do that anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good. It's another game where the visuals and the soundtrack are just so pretty, so good. I remember in one of the songs, I found it on YouTube, and one of the top comments was, "Welcome to heaven. This song will be your guide." And I was like, I agree.
Nice.
It's a fun game, and there's so many things you can do, and then it's very easily moddable. You can customize it to how you want it to be. There is a decent multiplayer scene, though I haven't really delved that much into it. A lot of role-playing servers, which I haven't really gotten into because I don't know, I've never been much into that, but I know it's alive and thriving, and it's a game where you feel great, even when you're fighting a frustrating enemy, and if you can pull that off, then
Wow.
you've done something right. You have done something right. Moving on to the bottom middle, Pokemon Platinum version. This is another hot take of mine. It's not really that much of a hot take, but I feel heated about it. Pokemon Platinum version is the best Pokemon game. Does it have the best story? No, that's Black and White. Okay, I'll give you that. But mechanically, game design, the roster of Pokemon, the balance and everything, Pokemon Platinum is the ultimate one. Fight me. I love Pokemon Platinum.
Which one were the starters for this one?
Okay, so you've got Chimchar, Piplup, and Turtwig.
Okay.
And right? Turtwig to Torterra.
I would die
very
for
fun.
Cort's just like
I would die for Turtwig.
Yeah, thank you. That was my starter for Platinum. Pokemon Pearl was the first Pokemon game I ever personally owned and called my own. And then I got Platinum, and it was just better. It was a straight-up improvement upon everything.
Wow.
And this was back when they would do that. They would have 2 games, and then they would make a third one that's just better version of each of those 2.
I will never understand why they do that, though.
Honestly, I don't completely know, but I was always so satisfied with it. Because you ask people about which Pokemon game is the best, they'll usually say Emerald or Platinum. There is some contention for Black and White, or Black 2, White 2, which was where they started just making an upgrade of each of the 2 instead of just a central upgrade, which I like the central upgrade better because, the idea was like, right, you got Diamond and Pearl. There's Pokemon you can only catch in Diamond. There's Pokemon you can only catch in Pearl. You go to the playground. You trade with your friends. And then a few years later, they released Platinum that just has all of them.
Yeah, it's like this 2-game system that they have been doing with Pokemon for so long. I just don't understand it.
It was really originally to emphasize the social aspect. You get on your Game Boy.
Force the socialization. Go touch grass.
Go touch grass.
Go touch
You
grass
must go to the playground.
and go trade with your friends. That was the idea. Is like, hey, I've got Pokemon Red version. You go buy Pokemon Green version. We'll trade the Pokemon each of us can't catch. And it was very fun. And then they would release that sort of like central one, which was
if you don't
honestly
want to have
just
friends,
service to the players, because it would be like, hey, here's the things we wanted to do in the first 2, and then we're giving it to you now. And I loved it. And honestly, I wish that instead of doing remakes of Diamond and Pearl, they'd just done a remake of Platinum and just like fleshed out everything and just given it to us in HD.
Fair enough.
But this game is just so good. And it was the last one of what I call the classic generation, where they had the same design philosophy of everything. The map of the game was like an interconnected web of routes. It wasn't so linear. There were secret areas. It was still that same sort of pixel graphics. There was a transition phase in Black and White, and then you got into the more modern phase where everything is linearized. There's a ton of hand-holding. But you do have some very pretty 3D visuals, except the battle animations suck. But I won't talk about that yet. Platinum was the last of the classic era of Pokemon, and it was very
Fair enough.
good.
Chef's kiss.
Very good. Yes, chef's kiss. And then in the bottom right is The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker.
Waker.
Again,
Such
with
a
the
good
nostalgia
game.
factor. Wind Waker, though, does not just need nostalgia to be a dang good game.
no, it is. I haven't played many Legend of Zelda games, but I have definitely played Wind Waker.
Yeah, and this is one I know, like back on the days of the GameCube.
Yeah,
my brothers
so
and I,
good.
we'd boot up the original Lego Star Wars. We'd boot up Super Smash. Actually, we didn't have Super Smash Bros. Melee. But
Wait, just kidding.
we'd go to our friend's house and play Melee. We'd play Double Dash. We'd play Star Fox Assault, which a lot of Star Fox fans hate, but it was the only Star Fox game I've ever played.
Oh, is
and
that the
I had
one
a
where
lot
you
of fun
could like
with
go
it.
on the ground and
Yeah,
actually
that
like fight
you could go on
each
the
other?
ground, which
Yeah.
was very fun, and we would play Wind Waker, and I love Wind Waker.
Wind Waker's very
The
good.
the tone and the art style are just everything meshes together beautifully. The story is really good. The gameplay is solid. There's nothing to complain about with Wind
No.
Waker.
Here's
It's
a
so
question.
good.
Here's a question.
Okay.
This may be a hot take,
Okay.
Uh-oh.
I'm not afraid of those.
but I mean, the Legend of Zelda series is known universally for its amazing music and its amazing soundtrack. And I feel like I'm going to get a lot of hate for this from the
Okay.
Ocarina of Time people.
I think I
out
can
there.
see. I think I can see where this is going.
But Wind Waker has the best Zelda soundtrack.
Oh, I thought you were going to go the other way.
Oh, no.
No.
Wind Waker has the best of all of the Zelda soundtracks.
I might be inclined to agree with you. Because I love the music across the board. And honestly, I know that the music was a little bit of less of a focus in Breath of the Wild. Wait, what am I meant?
Merlin's
Dragon Roost
Dragon
Island.
Roost Island, enough said. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly.
Maybe that wasn't as hot a take as I thought it was.
No, I thought you were going to go in the other direction.
No, I would die before I insulted Wind Waker's
Hey,
soundtrack.
Wind Waker is, yeah.
So good.
It's just like such a unique game when you think about it, because when you look at the N64 games before it, and then even the
Yeah.
later Zelda games, I feel like I feel like Wind Waker's art style,
It's
really
so
sets
lighthearted,
sets it apart
Oh,
from
yeah.
most of the other Zelda
Especially
games.
because it's sandwiched between Majora's Mask and Twilight Princess.
Oh, yeah.
The two grimdark
The most-
Zelda
the
games.
grungy Zelda games. Yeah,
You know?
And it's weird that at the time that it released, it got a lot of hate for being so cartoony,
Cartoony.
which
Yeah.
is really weird to me because it's like it's a Zelda game. Like,
Well, and now
Zelda
like
games
Nintendo's
innovate.
like leaning back into that, like back
Yeah,
into this
they really
cartoony
are.
style
Oh, yeah.
for like almost all their games.
You can see so many of influence design choices from that Wind Waker influenced in Breath of the Wild.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, it's like I think Wind Waker truly was one of the most important Zelda games ever made for the style of the series going forward. But yeah, you make a good point that like it is so different from what came before, but it was good, and I think people recognize that now, whereas they were complaining after Majora's Mask.
yeah,
And if someone prefers Twilight Princess over Wind Waker, that's their choice. Twilight Princess is very good, but Wind Waker is the one with a special place in my heart.
Very true.
Yeah.
All right, well, that closes up Kyle and Cort. Let's
right.
finish this out. The last man standing. Well, last man standing. I guess we weren't all down, but hey, there it is. The 4 for 4 with Minecraft.
yeah. I was
There
gonna
we
say
go.
it is.
The moment I saw that it was on Kyle's, I was like,
closed
I was
it
right.
out. There's
Every
some-
single person had Minecraft.
Wow,
in their,
you've
in their
outside
3x3.
of Minecraft and Breath of the Wild, you've got a completely new,
It is a new,
completely different set
it
of
is a new
games.
set.
He actually picked a nice picture for Breath of the Wild. He didn't take the trolley version. like
I
me.
did.
Really
I should have
Not
been more
Zelda.
creative with it. So, oh, sorry.
No, I was just saying it's just Link looking straight into the camera on fire.
Best promo art.
That is the soul of the game. So the way I didn't do this quite like you guys did. I organized it into 3 different rows.
Oh, you actually organized.
Sort of loosely. The top
right.
3 are games that I played recently that I thought were just like incredibly well made and have
okay.
made it to like my top games of all time. The middle 3 are games that I will always come back to and are kind of just like they're just omnipresent in my life. Like I'll always play
Yeah.
a little bit of those 3 games at different times. And then the bottom 3 are classic, meaningful games from my childhood.
Fair enough.
Including The Last of Us, which is not a childhood game. Don't
Yeah.
let your children
Don't
play
let
The
your
Last
children
of Us.
play
Last
that
of Us.
What? We should totally have the 5-year-olds playing The Last of Us.
Yeah,
What are you
what's
talking
wrong
about?
with that?
That was sarcasm. Don't
do
give
it.
it to
Don't
your
do it.
children.
Don't do it.
It's for grown-ups.
But obviously, Breath of the Wild, I
Yeah.
think if
Extensively
I mean,
covered.
if you made me choose a best game ever made right now, I'd probably say Breath of the Wild.
Who
Just
could blame you?
because- I mean, it's just one of those games that's just like I've played it through twice and I've like fully beat the entire thing, but I'll still just go back and just walk around in the open world and just like enjoy the
The
the living world. Like it's so well made, and I'm so excited for this sequel. But if we start on the sequel, we'll be here for the next 10 years talking about it. So we're
That's
not
true.
going to go down that route.
But you've reminded me of something, and I want to make this statement. If you have cleared like everything that you intend to do in a game, and then you come back and just like are there,
I feel that.
that tells you they did everything right.
Everything.
Yeah,
right?
I do
It's
that.
just
So good. And like you said, how there's still like secrets being discovered all
Mm-hmm.
the time. Like it's just such a well-made game. Red Dead Redemption 2.
Red Dead
Red
Redemption.
Dead Redemption
There we
2.
go.
I have never played the first one. I picked up the second one on sale because I was curious.
Yeah, Steam sales.
And actually I played it on the PS4.
Not Steam sales.
Not
Sony
Steam
sales.
sales. Sony sales.
PS4 sales.
PS4
I see
sales.
I see you were interested in the exceptionally rare.
Steam.
And I had a blast with it. I mean, it is just such a well-made like game, and the story.
Such a good story.
Such a good story. I mean, like, I don't feel like I'm typically kind of like you, Aidan, where like I have a hard time like relating to the bad guy or like to villains of some kind, you know. And while you technically do sort of play as a villain in Red Dead Redemption 2,
Yeah, it's like the anti-hero kind of approach.
and they make him so likable, especially if you play him as like the honorable outlaw.
That which is such an honorable outlaw. You're like that. No other game tries to push that sort of angle.
Yeah. And it's just like the little details in the world, and like I mean, it blows my mind. Like you can go out into the open world and like go hunting and like kill an animal, and then you can come back to that same spot like
It's still there.
forever later, and the animal's carcass is still there, but like rotted away.
Yeah,
It's just
more
crazy.
and it's like it's just like there's so many little details like that. Anyway, very good game. God of War. I never played the first 3.
That's
Only
alright.
played
Fair enough.
the new one. I don't know what to say about it. It's a really good game. I love Kratos. I love Atreus.
That's all you have to say then.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like
It's beautiful, man.
it's so beautiful, and the axe, like
Mm-hmm.
like the ability to like throw the axe and call it back, and like just the combat in general
Yeah.
is
There's a reason
So
that it is
satisfying.
Sony's flagship game for the PlayStation.
exactly. And the story, like the genuine like quiet moments in the story. I love games that have like real like heart put into their stories. And God of War
Definitely does that.
is arguably the king of that. The Last of Us is also up there. But anyway, very, very good. For the 3 that kind of I always come back to, Minecraft, obviously, but we've
Yeah,
talked
we've
about
spoken that
Yeah,
on
we-
at
we've
length.
We've talked
Yep.
about that extensively.
Extensively.
So, okay, now Fortnite.
Yeah,
I can hear you cringing. I can
Yeah,
hear
you've
you
lost me on that one.
Okay.
I think this is
Are
the,
we
this
upping
is,
the cringe count?
This is the only. This is out of all 4 of us. This is the only time that I'm gonna have to be like, this is the one game you will not see me ever have Fortnite on any of my devices ever.
Okay.
Well, here's the issue. I think Fortnite gets a bad rap
It does.
just for the fact that it had a very similar Minecraft situation where all the kids started playing it, and then all these kind of like cringy kind of style YouTubers just like looking for views and not
Yep.
actually making good content started doing it. And so then it switched, like everyone went to Fortnite. Then Fortnite got the bad rap of like, this is a kid's game. It's a stupid, bad game. I've played it. Like, I'm not a huge overall fan of Battle Royale
Battle
games.
Royale.
But I played it. It's a good game. And
Yeah, like I don't think it's a bad game. You'll just never catch me playing it.
Never, yeah. Here's my thing: is I'm not the typical Fortnite fan. I'm not like other Fortnite fans.
I'm not like the other Fortnite
But
players.
I'm not. No, but like I didn't. I was exactly like you guys. Like I had played it a couple times with my siblings, with my little siblings, and had a fun enough time with it, but never like loved it. And then in Chapter 2, Season 5, I think it was.
What?
They go through seasons and then chapters, and there's seasons inside the chapters. Anyway, don't worry about it.
All right.
But the whole concept of that season, like the whole theme of it, was that they like traveled around to different realities and picked up different characters from like other games and movies and
Was
shows.
this when they started doing collaborations?
Yeah, this. I mean, they had a few before
okay,
this, but this
yeah.
was when they started like really doing collaborations. And guys, I am a sucker for collaborations and like crossover stuff.
Yeah, he loves it when Darth Vader and Goku just Kamehameha at
But
each
like
other.
I do.
No. I literally was
Like,
just about to say that.
I
In
do.
what other game can Darth Vader and Goku
You
just
can
beat-
actually say, can he beat Goku?
Yeah. What other game can those two get together and just beat the crap out of Travis Scott?
No, it's true. And it's like,
You're right.
and I mean, it's like, and that kind of stuff, I live for that.
That's
stuff.
pretty funny,
And
though.
so it's like, I'll play it, and I don't play it like a whole ton on my own. I play it with my siblings. I play it with my friends, and then sometimes I do play it on my own because I'm a sad man. But
That's okay.
That's not
But-
sad.
it's like you'll never catch me using any of the skins except for like the crossover ones. And
enough.
like I just love that kind of like I just love that I'm sitting there, I'm Master Chief, and I'm shooting, and I'm like, oh, who am I shooting? Oh, that's Spider-Man. Who's coming over to come help him? Oh, that's Batman over there. Like, oh, and there's
Here
Lara
comes
Croft.
Rick.
Here comes
Rick
Itachi.
from Rick
Rick
and Morty.
Sanchez.
Like, and on there's Ninja. Like, it's just I love that
That's
kind
fair.
of stuff.
That's fair.
It gets me every time. Which leads me to my next one.
The ultimate the Nintendo
Which-
crossovers
which
and
is-
everything.
The birthplace of the big video game crossovers, I would argue.
Probably.
Super Smash Bros. I didn't put one specific on here.
I think you're
because-
right to not put one specific
Yeah.
because everyone has their preference.
because I've been playing them since Melee on the
Yep.
GameCube. My uncle had a GameCube, and I would sneak up to my grandma's house where he lived and would
Play Melee.
play Melee on his and play Melee on his GameCube all the time.
Yeah, you just
And-
leave the GameCube on overnight to unlock Mewtwo, you know? Just we've all done it. We've all been there.
Yeah. I feel like when I played Melee as a kid, I didn't understand how the game worked well enough to truly appreciate it because me and my friend Paige, we would just both pick Pikachu and then spam like 2 or 3 attacks, and that was how we played Melee. And we had a blast. But like now that I look back at it as an adult, and I'm like, man, there was so much stuff I was missing out on. I could have played all these characters, done these crazy things, but
that's the beauty of Smash Bros.
You
It's
can always go back.
You can always go back, and no matter how you play it, it's all viable and it's all fun.
And every round is different.
yeah,
That's true. That's true.
It's like I can have a friend who's never played Smash Bros. Come over and they're just like
And they can have
button
fun,
mashing,
yeah.
and they're having
Yep.
fun. And then I'm over there like try-harding, like trying to do all these combos and stuff, and I'm still having fun too.
Like you literally can just run into a round and be like, okay, I have decided I'm going to meme this round. I'm only going to try and hit 9 hammers off of Game & Watch and still have a blast.
That's true. I remember getting together with a bunch of friends being like, what are we doing this round? Like, all Mega Man, and it's only grab and throw.
Yeah, it's like you set the rules. You're like, oh, we're doing all random stage, random characters, and that one person just gets the busted Meta Knight and Brawl, and you're like, all right, we're done.
Or do you know what's the funnest thing is you set it so that everyone has 1 HP. And then everyone's either Fox or Falco, and you just like
Gunfighting with each other.
Oh, that's the best.
Smash is just one of those games that is up there with Minecraft and like Portal 2 of just like, it's always a game that you will, like nobody hates Smash.
That's true.
Because there's just enough, there's just, everyone has their, you could love Melee, you can love Ultimate, you can love the Wii U 3DS, or you can love you can love Brawl, or you just go to the classics and do N64, but like, if you say, oh, I like N64, I don't really like playing Ultimate that much, be like, that's fair.
Yeah.
All the games have their benefits to them, and they're all just super fun because it's like, regardless of the console that someone has, they're like, hey, I've got Smash on the N64, you guys want to play? And they're like, hey, yeah, I want to play Smash. I don't care if it's on the N64. Smash is Smash.
Smash is like the best.
Smash.
Smash is Smash. It's the best party game,
Oh,
out of all
hands
video
down.
games.
Hands down.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Yeah, I mean, there's some other good contenders like Wii Sports.
Wii,
Wii
yeah.
Plays. But like,
Nothing
I
will
think
beat Swordblade mode on Wii Sports Resort.
Hey, that is the
Except
best.
Smash.
That is true. Except Smash.
Except
except
Smash.
Smash.
Oh man.
All right.
Oh wait, but before we go on from Smash, I have to know who's everyone's main in Smash.
I jump around. It depends also on the game.
Let's go Ultimate.
I don't play Ultimate a whole lot, but the one that I like playing Palutena. Or if I'm just wanting to mess around, Game & Watch. Because those hammers are
they're
uncontested
crazy.
fun.
So my issue is I've played Smash Bros. Like probably 5 times.
And you played a different character every time.
I have only played Kirby.
All right, he's a Kirby
Because-
man.
That's
I
fair
cannot
enough.
play anything else because I cannot do recoveries on anything else.
Okay,
Okay.
So if I need
that's
to
fair.
get back on, I
That's
just need
fair.
to press the jump button
The jump
3 million
button,
3
times.
million times. Yeah, fair enough.
That is fair. I'd say sometimes I think Kirby's a little unfair, but like, yeah.
Kirby is the perfect beginner character.
he is though.
And
If you want to learn
love him
Smash,
for
you
it.
learn with Kirby.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys are gonna want to hear from me. Okay, with Ultimate, Pyra,
Okay.
one of the DLC characters.
Yeah.
I wasn't even expecting it because like when I have like a ton of experience with Brawl, I picked Meta Knight because of his recovery. It was only later that I learned he was busted. And by then I was,
Nobody
I was
told you
already-
before?
Nobody told me, and I was already invested. So I'm sticking with this
I am
guy.
invested in Meta Knight.
But I did love a lot of Pit, and then people told me Pit was busted. I'm like, come on,
You're like,
guys.
guys.
I was just picking them for the recovery, but okay. In Smash 4, I mained Jigglypuff, actually.
Ooh.
Just off of a meme game. We did an all Jigglypuff round.
Going for
and-
rests.
And honestly, the rest were great. But no, once I went over to a friend's house and he had the DLC characters, I played Pyra.
She's lots of fun
Didn't
to
ever
play.
want to go back. She's so much fun.
She's very fun.
Swapping over to Mithra as well if like I need to be a little speedier.
A little speedier, yeah.
It's just, but you remember what I said with Genshin Impact? Haha, big sword, go whack.
Yeah,
Pyra
Pyra has the big
fills
sword.
She's got the
that
big
niche.
sword.
Although I'm surprised that you don't just play Ike then.
You know,
Ike's big sword does.
If you
go
want the
back.
bigger sword, or you
His
just go a
big
long
sword-
sword with Sephiroth, you know?
Yeah, the big swords go whack on those, but they're just not as satisfying. I don't know if it's
I don't
just
know.
the
It's
the
burst
extra
of flames.
fire oomph
Maybe it is the
On
fire.
here, the
Yeah.
fire. It's all of
Maybe. It's
the
the
particle
flames.
effects.
But I've never been all that satisfied with Ike. I play him pretty well, but I just.
That's fair.
What about you, Cort?
My go-to has always been and always will be Link. I'm
A
basic.
classic.
Which
He is
Link, though?
he is
Oh
the-
yeah, which Link?
Oh, I was gonna say he's the vanilla pudding of Smash Bros, but I wouldn't have it any other way.
So
Just
OG Link.
OG
Just
Link.
classic Link.
Okay.
Played him in Melee, played him in Brawl even though he sucked, played him in 4 even though he sucked but not quite as bad, and
Played
then
him in
play him in
Ultimate.
Ultimate now and he's actually pretty good in Ultimate.
Yeah,
finally.
nothing wrong with playing Link.
I know. I'm very happy with his Breath of the Wild overhaul in Ultimate. But,
Fair enough. All right.
yeah.
Now your last three.
Down to the classic.
These are
games.
childhood games,
These are
right?
childhood
Last of Us,
games.
childhood game.
The Last of Us is old childhood, older childhood.
I'm still a child inside hood game.
I'm still a child inside hood.
But I can see somebody getting their head chopped off without, mentally scarring me.
Of course.
Exactly. The Last of Us was the first game I think I played that genuinely
Made you
had
feel
me-
things.
Yeah, genuinely had me invested in the story. I mean, have you guys all played? Have you guys all played Last of Us?
I have not,
not.
but I know I am familiar with how it works. And
It
everything.
it hits different. I don't know. It's hard to explain if you haven't played it, but it's just
Because it's like story first, game second almost, right?
Absolutely,
Like the way
yeah,
that it was
yeah.
crafted, they crafted the game around their story, and you can really tell with how everything works. The game mechanics that are in there are for the story. The story isn't there to help you just use the game mechanics.
exactly.
Yeah.
And
Which is
and
kind of
it
like
works
opposite
so well.
Nintendo when you think about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I gotta
It's-
say.
Incredible story.
Yeah.
Incredible story and very fun gameplay too. It's a genuinely fun game to play and also very scary. Don't play it
Especially when
alone
you-
at night.
Especially when you find a bunch of ammo in one place and you realize that you're about
like,
to.
Here we go.
Why do I hear boss music?
That's funny.
Skyward Sword, I know a lot of people don't love it as a Zelda game. I've heard I know it gets a lot of hate and I get it because the motion controls are a little janky in
Yeah.
some parts.
Yeah.
And it's a lot more linear than most Zelda games. It's definitely not my favorite Zelda game, but it was my first. And it was my first
then that'll do it.
That'll do it.
game.
That'll do it.
Period. That I really owned because my parents did not like video games for the longest time.
That'll also do it.
And so we did not have any kind of consoles, any kind of gaming PCs at all. And so finally, my same uncle had the GameCube upgraded to a Wii, and we had relatively easy access to it.
It's always the Wii.
It's always the Wii.
I'm pretty sure everybody owned a Wii.
My first console was a Wii.
I had a GameCube, but it's there were families, and I had family members, cousins whose parents, weren't big gamers, games were never. They got a Wii. I'm like, okay, if they're getting, if they're getting a Wii,
Right.
then
everyone
that's
has a
it.
Wii. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's that meme of the presidents, two of the big people in Nintendo. I can't remember who it was specifically, but they were holding a Wii, and there was a GIF, and there was just money shooting out the CD slot, and they were yelling, "It prints money!"
Yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah, but not Breath of the Wild. Skyward
Sword.
Sword was the first game that I bought myself kind of
Ooh.
and owned as this is Cort's video game that he owns. And I did it because I made a deal with my grandma that if I read the entire Book of Mormon,
No way that you put Skyward Sword as a completion reward for reading the Book of
I
Mormon.
did.
You-
And she was like, I'll buy
Okay.
you a game. I'll buy you a game
That's-
if you read the Book of Mormon. And I was
All
like,
right.
okay. So I read the whole Book of Mormon, and I went straight to Target
That's-
to pick up Skyward Sword.
Oh, okay. That's it. It's a bold strategy, Cotton. I mean, I guess it paid off, but my
What
goodness.
a Chad move.
I
my
mean,
guy.
I was little. I didn't know what was a good game. I just knew that Skyward Sword looked cool, and
And the
wanted
only
to
thing
play it.
between you and it was the Book of Mormon.
I would have read the Book of Mormon anyway. It was-
Sure you would.
Sure, you would have. That's so funny.
but
I'm just gonna say his grandma knew what was up,
Yeah,
right?
his grandma knew how to do it.
Grandma's like, my grandma. But Yes.
I'd like to say, Cort, I wanna have a moment to acknowledge, how far you've come. Because, first off, you're like, man, I got to sneak over to Uncle to play video games, and now you're on a gaming podcast as one of the hosts.
Yeah, you're like, take that.
My
How
parents are
far
so
you've
disappointed in me.
Take
But
that,
that's
Mom and
okay.
Dad. That's really funny. All right, your final slot.
My final one.
Now, this is a class.
Star Wars The Force Unleashed. Now, I haven't talked much about how much hours I have in different games, mostly because I haven't really kept track, and I probably should, but
How would you...
I don't want to shame myself.
Yeah, you're good.
Because I know that there would be an unholy amount of hours in all of these games.
Were you listening to when I spoke about my game hours? I think I make the rest of you look a little better.
But Force Unleashed is by far and away the game out of all of these that I probably have the most
It's so good.
playtime in, because I have probably played through the entirety of Force Unleashed at least 12 times.
Wow.
That's a handful.
Just because it's so fun.
It is so good.
And we had it when we first got a relatively good computer that could run games at our house. We bought Force Unleashed. It was the Ultimate Sith edition,
Yeah,
the big
Oh.
one. Yeah. And and I would just play it over and over and over again and I would jump between levels.
Yeah.
And it's so fun. My Steam, I think right now says that I have somewhere around, I want to say it's 600 hours.
Yeah, and for a game like
in
Force Unleashed, which is a story-based game, to be able to get that much,
That says something.
it says a lot.
And then I will
Yeah.
say a lot of that is actually just because I would leave it running when I was
Oh,
little.
okay, well, that doesn't count. Never mind. Faulty
I didn't know that
numbers.
you shouldn't do that on your computer.
False. We recount. We need to recount.
Recount. If you go for the recount, it's probably more like 300. But
My favorite part about Force Unleashed is I feel like it, better than any Star Wars movie or any other Star Wars games, gives you a real sense of what the Force can do.
oh yeah,
I mean, where else in any other Star Wars game is a Jedi or a Sith full on just crashing a Star Destroyer on their own with just the
pulling
Force?
going ham.
Starkiller just straight up just drags it to the ground, and you're like, I didn't know you could do that with the Force.
Right.
I think the thing that just gets me with it is because of how active a role the Force plays in the combat. Combat, every single combat encounter in the game, even if you've played through that level and that combat encounter a trillion times, plays out differently every time because you're always
Yeah.
got some new combination of I'm going to use this ability on this guy and I'm going to throw this guy this way, and it's just incredibly satisfying
It
to
is
throw
fun
the
to throw
ragdolls
the
around.
ragdolls.
The stormtroopers just going flying. I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe I'm
and from
evil.
a mechanical standpoint, it's a challenging concept to involve the Force fluidly in a game where you need controls and the controls do specific predictable things.
Yeah.
I've never played The Force Unleashed, but I understand that it made it very fluid and fun.
It was a very
very
well designed Star Wars game.
Is this another game where it's I wish I had played it when it came out? The thing was, I feel like I had no hope to get it because my parents at that time were kind of I had the impression, at least in my mind, I don't know whether or not it was true, but that it was too edgy for my parents. You're playing
Star
this
Wars
guy.
too edgy.
You're
I
playing.
mean, look at him.
like,
He has a sword. He's holding his lightsaber backwards.
He's holding his lightsaber backwards. It's red. He's using Force lightning, and I'm like, that looks cool. But I'm like, I don't know if who knows? Maybe they would have been like, oh,
you
yeah,
you didn't want to push the boundary.
Yeah, but
enough.
if I ever get the chance again, I'll probably take it.
Knights of the Republic comes first, though.
Fair. I need to do Coder first. That's fair.
Yeah.
KOTOR comes first with this D&D dated combat, but
Also, this is my monthly request to Star Wars and Disney and Lucasfilm and Lucas Games to
Oh.
please make Force Unleashed 3.
that's never going to happen.
Please do it. I know it's not going to happen, but please.
I would say you'd almost have better luck asking Valve for a third Half-Life, but I feel like that might be too unreasonable.
Yeah.
No one has worse luck than asking Valve for Half-Life 3.
Nobody knows how to count worse than Valve.
They don't know the number 3.
I was
Yeah.
going to make a Kingdom Hearts 3 joke right here, but
Gosh.
But it came out.
They actually
They
did it.
actually beat you to the punch on that one.
Yeah.
We got enough jokes. All right, well, that's all of our 3x3s, but we have, of course, the man behind the curtain, Merlin, our producer, tech guy, Jason, who has also
Yes,
made a 3x3.
His actual name is Jason, people. Yeah.
No, he's named Merlin. We actually call him Jason.
Jason is his nickname.
So what have
Let's
you
see
got
it.
for us, Jason? Let's.
Oh. Just let it sit like that for a bit, okay?
There's no
Let
Minecraft
us
on here.
soak
You
in it.
broke the.
There's
No.
there's no Minecraft.
There's no Minecraft.
My
He's got Smash
God.
though.
Yes, Smash.
Super Mario 64. That's a nice. Wow.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good.
Throwing it back.
Ooh, Factorio.
Factorio, Monster Hunter.
Spelunky.
Oh my gosh, Spelunky.
Spelunky.
My dude. Risk of Rain.
Ooh, Risk of Rain
Spelunky,
2.
Celeste. Wow, there's some. I had a friend who played a lot of Monster Hunter, and he really enjoyed it and played it a whole lot. So I know that it is a good game. I've never played it, but he said it was really good. You've got Kirby and a Mario game. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't think we have either of the. I don't know. None of us had.
Well, I almost put the original Super Mario World on there, but it was a hard debate for me. Okay, RimWorld, what is that? I don't know what that game is.
Yeah.
It looks familiar.
Well, let's see if.
Oh, he has a voice.
Let's see what my levels are like.
You're probably a little quiet.
Yeah. Hey, what's up?
There he is.
Hi,
There
I'm
he
Jason.
is.
He has a voice.
So, hi everybody. I'm running the audio engineering and the editing for the podcast. So yeah, to explain a little bit, defend myself. Doesn't sound like you guys
No,
are being
these are
pretty
good.
easy
Yeah,
on
these
me.
are pretty good
games.
picks.
Yeah.
So first and foremost, Super Mario 64, one of my favorite games of all time, specifically because I'm a very amateur speedrunner, and Super Mario 64 is a game that I can play for thousands of hours. I have no idea how much time I've put into Super Mario 64, but like racing that game, speedrunning that game, doing bingos, doing silly challenges and stuff, like it feels so good to control, feels so good to play. I've 100%ed it. I don't know, a couple of times at least, and I've gotten every star in the game,
Yeah.
a dozen times, if not in one full run through it. Like I play that game all the time. I freaking love Super Mario 64. And with that is the Kirby and the Amazing Mirror, which is like a classic game from my childhood that I kind of liked. And then I picked it up as a speedrunning game, just as to 100% it, which takes like an hour and a half. And it's just, it's a beautiful little, it's an open world Kirby game. Like I don't know if people have played Amazing Mirror or know anything about it, but like it's straight up an open world 2D platformer, and it's fantastic.
Is that why Celeste is on here too?
Speed running again.
Ooh, the 2D
open.
I'm big on 2D platformers, like precision platformers. I love it. And Celeste is
Celeste is king of that category.
probably the best one that's come out
2D
in
platformers.
the last couple of years. Celeste like revitalized the genre. I feel like
Because
it's
then the
amazing.
Spelunky is another 2D side. I mean, that's another really good one. Although I'm surprised you don't have Terraria on here then. If you're,
I've never gotten into Terraria.
I really love 2D
man.
platformers aside, but Terraria I've never played.
Yeah,
Well, Terraria isn't much of a platform.
No,
though,
yeah.
You know.
But then you have like the opposite of a 2D platformer, Monster Hunter.
yeah, it's kind of funny. I'm not huge on like the 3D action adventure. Like I've played Dark Souls, I've played Elden Ring, and I wouldn't say I bounce off of them, but I can't sink hundreds of hours into them. But Monster Hunter, just the gameplay loop is so good.
Yeah.
It's so clean. The combat is so fun. The expression in grinding for the gear you want. Like I put Iceborne on here just because I haven't played Rise. I haven't played the newest Monster Hunter game, and I've played World a lot. But Monster Hunter 3 and Monster Hunter 4 on the 3DS, I put a couple hundred hours into each.
Nice.
Like those were my school bus.
Yeah, the school bus games.
So I got a question for you about Monster Hunter. Have you ever seen the YouTube series A Crap Guide to Monster Hunter?
No, I've never heard of this.
Go watch it. You'll love
Oh,
it.
there you go.
Or how about the YouTube series Terminal Montage?
I was gonna say that terminal montage.
Their Monster Hunter series is actually hilarious.
And he also has a Super Mario 64 video as well, which is pretty funny.
That's awesome.
Yeah, some classic stuff. And then I put Factorio on there. I love puzzle games. I love programming and like automation games. And Factorio.
Isn't RimWorld kind of similar?
RimWorld's more a colony sim. And
Okay.
it's,
Oh,
That's
it's,
what it
it's
is.
like it's top down.
SimCity style kind of
Yeah,
thing.
and RimWorld is a ton of fun for the emergent storytelling. I really love it. Like you start with a random generated set of people and have random events, and like the kinds of incredible synergies and stuff that will just happen. The most bizarre stuff that happens is so much fun, and it's you have like the survival management part of it. I really love RimWorld. I can put a ton of time into that game.
Yeah. And
That's
then
cool.
What's Risk of Rain? I have honestly never heard of that.
Risk of Rain. So Risk of Rain 1 was a 2D side-scrolling roguelike where you play. You're like crash landed on a planet fighting to get off. Fighting the local fauna, and you have a cast like a dozen characters, and you're unlocking more items that you can find, and you're unlocking more characters and stuff like that. And Risk of Rain 1 came out a while ago. Risk of Rain 2 came out a couple years ago. After like years of silence, or they made a couple other games, the studio. Risk of Rain 2 is 3D. It's like behind the shoulder.
What the heck?
3D. It takes the same formula,
but it's just 3D
and totally flipped it. And it's beautiful graphics.
It is very
stunning game,
very fun. But you gotta play it with friends. Risk of Rain 2. I've played it a little bit with some friends, and it's just like it's one of those games where you just jump on with your friends. And it's just complete and utter chaos.
Absolutely.
But it's so fun. And, like, it's so, like, the mechanics of it are very, I don't want to say broken, but, like, you can exploit them a little bit.
Yeah,
Like, if you get...
You get the god builds,
Yeah,
like
you get the god builds. Or, like, you get, like, one of my favorite things is, like, there's an item that you can get, like, multiple of. That's, like, a little feather that gives you, like, an extra jump. And if you get, like, a bunch of those, you can just fly around the map because you just jump. Boop, 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 boop. It's winning. Anyway.
Risk of Rain,
very fun.
Like, wonderful. You're totally right. Risk of Rain 2 is amazing multiplayer. Risk of Rain 1 multiplayer wasn't great. And there's so many different ways you can play the game because you can just play it, dry, try to beat the game. But there's, you can play with different artifacts that change the rules, different modifiers to the game. And one of them is lets you choose exactly what items you want to get instead of them being random. It's called Command. And it just so then every run is a god build run. And
there you go.
Nice. It's insane, and there's just you can totally goof off with it. It's so much fun with friends. You can just play. You can never go to the final boss and just see how long you can keep surviving as everything scales up forever.
There you go.
If you really want it to get crazy, there's also a decently active modding scene around Risk of Rain 2.
Ooh. You add mods to a game, everything breaks loose.
But Risk of Rain especially, I mean, I'm just saying, I remember one time I walked in to my brother, who is my roommate, but I walked into his room, and he was playing Risk of Rain 2 with some friends, and I looked over his shoulder thinking it was just a normal match of Risk of Rain 2. But he was playing as a little 3D Among Us guy.
No, Among Us, no.
And his buddy raised the cringe counter.
His buddy was over there. His buddy was over there playing this like beautifully modeled version of Samus from Metroid.
Nice.
Like Samus.
Oh, nice.
And then they were fighting like all these little miniature Obamas. Wait. These little miniature Obamas.
So Samus and Among Us versus Obama.
Versus all these Obamas that were just like swarming them. And then like every once in a while there would be like these Taco Bell like bells that would come in and like do like the Taco Bell ring.
Why are we adding oh my goodness.
And I'm just
Now that sounds like a modded game.
That sounds like a modded game.
I mean, it gets weird when it's
That's
modded.
awesome. And then of course Smash on there. I feel like that
Yeah, Smash
enough
Ultimate.
said. Smash Ultimate.
Yeah,
is-
I was a Melee purist for a long time, but and I've kind of fallen out of the competitive scene, and so coming to Ultimate, it's it's the best casual Smash.
Yeah.
Competitively, yeah, you can argue forever, but like with my very amateur, I'm just a competitive person. I don't play competitively, and Ultimate like the roster is massive, and with that, like there's a solid 10 to 20 characters that I'd love to
everybody
pick up
has
and
what
play.
they can
Like,
play.
there's so many different styles. There's a lot of characters I hate, and that's fine because it's something to
like Dark
direct my anger.
Dark Pit.
Yeah, but I feel like playing random games of Super Smash Bros. Has never been better than it is in Smash Ultimate.
because there's so much more variety now.
Yeah.
You
And
can
honestly,
always
I
have
feel
a
like
different-
they balanced it a lot better than the previous two entries.
Oh yeah, Smash Ultimate is amazing.
It is very well balanced.
Yeah.
especially for the amount of characters that they.
I'm
have
surprised
to
that they've been able to balance it the way they
Yeah.
have. Obviously, there are still some characters that are a little broken, but I mean, there's nothing.
There's nothing like Brawl.
There's
Meta
nothing
Knight.
like Brawl Meta Knight. Yeah.
exactly.
Or like Smash 4 Bayonetta, like, there's nothing. There isn't someone that just stands out. They're like, no, this person is banned in tournaments because it's,
Although Steve is right.
I've heard that Steve is getting up there.
There's been some discussion, but yeah.
Wait, actually, Because
Yeah.
I was 100% just about to make a joke saying, "Oh, but Minecraft Steve, he's pretty broken."
No, he actually. I've been
actually
hearing
is,
that he is
yeah.
actually getting pretty broken.
Yeah.
If you set up his blocks, like his building just right, you can pull off some ridiculous things. I would never be able to do them, but it's fun watching people who are way better at the game than I
Yeah,
am.
competitive Steve players are kind of terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then finally, there's Spelunky on there. Just your classic, nice
Spelunky.
mining.
I've sunk a ton of time. I specifically put Spelunky 1 on there because I sunk a ton of time to that game. It combines some of my favorite loves. It's 2D and it's a roguelike.
And it's a
right?
yeah,
It's a
perfect.
precision platformer.
There it
roguelike.
is.
And Spelunky, one of the big things that's cool about Spelunky 1 and 2 is the like discovery of secrets, because
Yeah.
there's so many different branching paths. There's so many different points in each run where you can choose to go a different way. You can get to secret bosses and stuff like that. And the reason I put up Spelunky 1 is because I know Spelunky 1. I know everything. I know all the secrets. I can go fight the secret boss Yama whenever I want. I can play through the game, and it's great because I have an understanding of it. Spelunky 2 took... it's Spelunky 2 is the game on steroids. Like, there's so much more. The game is so much bigger, and I haven't.
Okay, yeah.
I like. It's a steep learning curve, and like I'm more comfortable with Spelunky 1 because it's like
Fair
I know
enough.
this game.
Yeah.
It's so comfortable. It's
Fair
so fun
enough.
to goof off in. And Spelunky 2 is just like
No thanks.
knock you back to the curve.
I didn't come here to hurt my brain. I'm going to go back to the classic, what I understand.
So Spelunky
Sick.
for you is kind of a comfort game.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's nice. Everyone needs their comfort game.
We all have our comfort
We
games.
do. We
yeah,
do.
definitely.
Well, then there it is. There's all of our 3x3s, the kind of games we play. So that was kind of what we wanted to use this entire episode for. Obviously, moving forward, episodes will not just be us just sitting about and talking about our favorite games. So like was mentioned at the beginning, typically moving forward, episodes will generally follow the format of we'll open up and spend probably a large portion of the time talking about various gaming news that happen throughout the gaming scene, whether it be, big conventions that happen, new games that were released, massive patches that came through on big games, controversies, and
GTA
we'll
6
probably
leak.
exactly things exactly like that. And so we'll each probably bring our own topic to talk about, and we'll talk about that for a little bit. And then on the tail end of episodes, we hope to include like reviews of esports tournaments and matches that had happened in the previous week or that are currently ongoing. And then whatever space is in between news and esports, if there is space, then we will put fun entertainment segments, whether it be like tier lists or hot takes, just something to really to get the conversation flowing that has nothing to do with current events, or maybe it is related to a current news topic, but it isn't something that we're just talking about facts and talking about how we feel about it. It's really just our personal opinions on things, and we just kind of cutthroat go at each other. And so that'll fill in that dead space between news and esports where we just throw it out there.
So basically, news, fun stuff, and esports.
And esports.
Pretty much, yeah. We're here to talk about games and have fun.
That sounds like the ideal podcast.
Right?
Perfect.
I mean, if
The
you ask
ideal.
me, like it sounds like an amazing podcast. I think
Yeah,
you guys
definitely.
should all listen to it all the time.
I think we can count as unbiased judges for
Unbiased.
this. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Unbiased. Completely
I have no
unbiased.
like.
I have no
no stake in
no
this,
stakes
but-
in this. What are you talking about?
Now,
Joe Rogan
speaking
ain't got
of
nothing on us.
Now, speaking of opinions and biases, please, if the platform that you're listening to this podcast on allows for comments, put some comments down below of some of the games that are big in your life, ones that are influential to how your taste in games have been, ones that are nostalgic from your childhood, ones that you love right now, ones that you would be willing to fight someone on why they're the best in their series. We don't care. Tell us your favorite games, the games you love to play. And chat with others. Please be kind and respectful. I don't want to have to police the comments section.
But he will.
But he will.
He will.
I will fight you.
He
No,
will
I'm
pull
kidding.
out his big sword and just
Big sword.
And
knock them all
smite.
down.
They call me a knight of the D-pad for a reason.
He is the executioner.
Yeah, but please put in comments and don't feel afraid to comment about what you want to hear us talk about. If there's a game that came out that we missed you want to hear us talk about, if there's just a topic in general you want to get our thoughts on different consoles or whatever, ask us. We are open to listening. We can't take every request, but we'll try to include them for the sake of our listeners.
And do remember that we are a BYU podcast, so keep it BYU appropriate. I'm sorry, but we won't be talking about Doki Doki Literature Club.
Unfortunately, to Kyle's, dismay.
Oh, man. The game I never played. Yeah, but I guess it's about time to wrap things up. Knights of the D-Pad is an official publication of the Daily Universe, which is the official newspaper of BYU. We would like to give special thanks to BYU Broadcasting for allowing us to use their studio with this wonderful round table that we are sitting at.
Totally
Hexagonal.
round.
Hexagonal. Close enough. This amazing
Few
studio.
polygons short.
Yeah.
Couldn't render all the way.
This is an N64.
This is an
round
N64
table.
run tape. Exactly. We'd like to thank them for the gracious use of their amazing studio. And we would like to thank also Miles Romney for helping us to put all this together and gathering this amazing team. Is there anyone else we need to thank? I think that's good.
Thank you, Merlin.
Thank you, Merlin.
Thank you, Merlin.
Thank you,
To
Merlin.
Jason, our incredible man behind the curtain. And with that, let's close things out. I hope you all have a fantastic day. Signing off, this is Kyle.
I'm Cort.
This is Aidan.
And this has been.
And we are the Knights of the D-Pad. See you next time.